Part 1. Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Jonghu Buletin. Chapter 1. Half of July is when ghosts are at their best. It is said that the gates of ghosts will be opened during the Hungry Ghost Festival, and the ghosts of the dead will wander the streets on this night. Many villages also choose to perform rituals on their ancestors on the Hungry Ghost Festival. Worship. Behind the small mountain village in Anyang County is a huge cemetery. In fact, in the early years, the land was cultivated by farmers. Now it is better to rent it out and use it as a cemetery for the crematorium to make money. The brand new tombstones looked extremely resentful in the night. When the evil wind blew, it blew up the paper money that people had put there during the day to worship. In an instant, the white and yellow paper money was blown up by the strong wind. It is rising in the sky, which seems to add a bit of terror to such a cemetery. At this moment, in a coffin, a person opened his eyes and looked at the darkness in front of him. He turned his head and looked at the square shape around him, and knew that he was in a coffin, and he immediately gritted his teeth. "Damn it! You idiot 818, you got me inside the coffin." He said this, but there was not much fear on this man's face. Instead, in such anger, his left leg began to bend his knee, and then the next moment his right leg kicked directly towards the coffin. Bang! 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 There is such a strange sound in the peaceful cemetery. If anyone passes by, it will probably make them pee. Unfortunately, during this special time of July and a half, the gravekeepers of the cemetery will not guard the graves here, so it won't scare people. This coffin was buried in the cemetery, and the wooden lid of the coffin was nailed. If a normal person woke up in it, he would probably be starved of oxygen and burp in a short time. But the man inside kicked a few times and opened a gap in the coffin. Then he hit it with his fist again, and there was a bang. Among the many cemeteries, there was a bang at the cemetery in the corner. Someone actually kicked the coffin lid out together with the soil on it. Soon, in this dark night, a man in his early 20s appeared. Climbed out of it. This man was not wearing a shroud, but a simple black sportswear. After crawling out of the coffin, he almost blended in with the night, and looked even more weird. At this moment, a blue light suddenly flashed around the man and floated around him. Host, I don't want you to go into the coffin, but this golden finger holder just died. I don't have the energy to reverse time and space now, so I can only reshape your body and bring you back to your peak youthful state. Otherwise you think, can you come out of the coffin? That's right, this little blue ball is System 818, the execution shuttle system of the Time Travel Division. Then why didn't you let me die in the coffin? It would have saved me the task. Xieting Zhou sneered, and now he was groping forward in the darkness, but he seemed not to be afraid of the atmosphere of the entire cemetery, and walked towards the only lighted house there. Host, didn't I simulate your peak state for you? I believe you can break the coffin and come out. You are the most awesome host in our time traveling department. A small coffin cannot contain you. 818 began to praise Xieting Zhou, but he was right. There were many hosts in the entire time travel department, but Xieting Zhou was the host who completed the most tasks and lived the longest. 818 followed Xieting Zhou and was promoted to the first place in the system. Okay, you have been chattering all day long, tell me the mission information. Xieting Zhou walked forward in the darkness, with blue light swirling around him. It was still scary to watch in the cemetery. The cheat that the host wants to recycle this time is the infinite black card. This black card will issue tasks to the host. If you complete the task within its specified time, you will get a lot of money. If you fail to complete the task, you will die. 818 said. The blue light floated to the side of Xieting Zhou's pants, then stuffed himself into Xieting Zhou's left pants pocket, and then took out a black card with golden dark patterns from it. It floated up, and the blue light shone on the gleaming black card in the darkness. The time travel division locked on this golden finger and waited for Xieting Zhou to completely recover it after using it. Xieting Zhou, who continued to walk forward, stretched out his hand and held the black card in his hand. In an instant, he heard a sound that did not belong to 818, but another mechanical sound. The infinite black card is successfully bound to the bound person. Xieting Zhou, will the host start the task? This is a cheat that doesn't give people a choice. The moment Xieting Zhou got this infinite black card, all the memories of this body rolled up in Xieting Zhou's mind like a series of data, letting Xieting Zhou know all the conditions of this body. No. Xieting Zhou refused to start the task and finally came to the small room with dim lights. Walking over, he found that although the lights were on, the door of the small room was locked. Xieting Zhou snorted and broke off half a piece of wire from the trash can on the ground. The next moment, the wire was stuffed into the lock core. Inside, there was a click and the door opened. Opening the door, the warm yellow light shone on Xieting Zhou's jade-like face, finally giving this man a breath of life. Xieting Zhou walked in and glanced at the small room, which was less than 5 square meters. This was probably where the tomb keeper lived. In addition to a bed, there was a table and a chair. The room was very clean, and the table there is also a pot of flowers and a mirror on the ceiling. It can be seen that the resident is a very sentimental person. There is an old-fashioned telephone on the clean table. However, Xieting Zhou was not interested in this for the time being. He sat on the chair, then stretched out his hand and saw his young fingers with distinct joints. Then he picked up the mirror on the table and soon saw the young face in the mirror. The man in the mirror did have a handsome face. His cold white skin gave people a sense of indifference. His nose was high and straight. His phoenix eyes were slightly raised, looking at him with a bit of carelessness. His eyebrows were dark and sharp, and even his lips were thinly pressed together. He looked like a ruthless person who was a sophisticated egoist. No wonder he could do such a thing. At this moment, the man in the mirror looked like he was only in his early 20s, but in fact, this body was already 45 years old. His real name was Xietunan. He was an unlucky guy favored by the golden finger, and also a greedy unlucky guy. Xietunan and his wife Huang Xinyu are both orphans who grew up in the same orphanage. When Xietunan was a child, he was adopted by his adoptive parents. After all, this guy is beautiful and looks very well behaved, but he was sent back soon. There is no other reason. The adoptive parents became pregnant a year after adopting him and had their own children. The adopted child naturally became a stumbling block for the biological child. The reason why Xietunan was sent back was that he always stole things at home. Maybe adults are like this. When returning something, they always find a flaw in it. Xietunan, who was sent back, began to be isolated by the children in the orphanage. They thought Xietunan was a thief. Only Huang Xinyu knew that Xietunan would not steal things. He was sent back because his adoptive parents were pregnant. Huang Xinyu was abandoned in the hospital. She has congenital heart disease. Maybe her parents are unable to treat it, so they resorted to this last resort. The police investigated many ways but could not find Huang Xinyu's parents. In the end, the kind people in the hospital paid for Huang Xinyu's first heart surgery, and then Huang Xinyu was sent to the orphanage. Xietunan and Huang Xinyu became closer and closer, from taking care of each other in childhood to falling in love in youth. Xietunan looked good, but he was not good at studying. He was not as good as Huang Xinyu, who was always the first in the class. It seemed natural for him to like this girl. Huang Xinyu also liked Xietunan. Even if there were better boys who liked her, she would still like Xietunan. Since junior high school, Huang Xinyu, who always received scholarships, would buy all kinds of clothes and delicious food for Xietunan, which made Xietunan 1.8 meters tall. Xietunan also confessed to Huang Xinyu in his senior year of high school, and the two officially got together. Xietunan used to like Huang Xinyu. He was a poor student, so he naturally liked Huang Xinyu, a top student. Moreover, Huang Xinyu looked very gentle, with long hair draped over her shoulders, which was the appearance of first love in the dreams of all boys. The 18-year-old love was passionate and sincere. Huang Xinyu was admitted to a good university in Shangjing City, but Xie Tunan could not even get into an ordinary university. His college entrance examination score was only more than 200 points, so he could only go to a junior college with high tuition. The watershed of life soon arrived. Huang Xinyu planned to use the bonus given by the school to pay Xie Tunan's tuition, but Xie Tunan was worried that Huang Xinyu would not have living expenses at school, so he finally dropped out of school secretly and started working, thinking of giving Huang Xinyu living expenses every month. When Huang Xinyu knew about this, it was already the first semester of her freshman year. Xie Tunan had dropped out of school and started doing all kinds of odd jobs. He bought Huang Xinyu a lot of things that girls should have. He had a monthly salary of 5,000 yuan, and could spend 4,900 yuan on Huang Xinyu. In this way, 4 years of college passed. Huang Xinyu graduated from college. The two had tasted the forbidden fruit for the first time. The 22-year-old Xie Tunan and Huang Xinyu of the same age successfully got married. Even though Xie Tunan had nothing, Huang Xinyu never despised him. After that, there were 2 years of peaceful and loving days. Huang Xinyu had a good education and found a company with a monthly salary of 16,000 yuan, which was much better than Xie Tunan, who had a salary of 5,000 yuan. In 2 years, he was even promoted to a monthly salary of 20,000 yuan. Seeing his wife becoming more and more outstanding, Xie Tunan felt fearful and uncomfortable. Fortunately, at this time, the 24-year-old couple welcomed a new life. Huang Xinyu was pregnant with twins. During the year when his wife was pregnant and gave birth, Xie Tunan was happy. However, when his wife gave birth to twins and various colleagues from his wife's department came to see his wife, Xie Tunan heard those people talking about him behind his back in the corridor. They said that he was useless, an orphan, had no education, no money, and didn't know how Huang Xinyu fell in love with him. Sometimes a man's self-esteem is so terrible. He suppressed all this and began to vent his anger on Huang Xinyu uncontrollably. He became irritable day by day, and even quarreled with his wife when she was taking care of the children, and finally broke up unhappily. It was at this time that the unlimited black card came to Xie Tunan. This is a magical black card that will occasionally issue shopping and spending tasks. As long as you complete the purchase in a short period of time, you can become richer and richer, but if you fail to complete the task, you will lose your life. Xie Tunan was excited and scared when he got this magical black card. He was excited that he could have unlimited wealth, but he was scared that if he was discovered spending money like this, what would happen? So after completing the first task, the black card system gave him a real identity. From then on, Xie Tunan became Xie Tingzhou. He changed his appearance and identity. Xie Tunan disappeared from this world, and Xie Tingzhou appeared. In order to sever his former identity, Xie Tunan did not inform his wife at all, and no longer considered his 2 children in their cradles. He threw his old clothes and old mobile phones into the river casually, as a farewell to his poor first half of life. Since then, he became Xie Tingzhou, and then continued to complete various spending tasks. With the return of the unlimited black card, he became a mysterious rich man envied by everyone, a magical rich man who always had beautiful women to pay for him, and a top rich man who was like a fish in water in various fame and fortune circles. In this way, 19 years passed in a flash. If you walk too much at night, you will always encounter ghosts. As the amount of unlimited black card consumption increases, he must hide all this. He dare not let people around him know, fearing that others will encroach on his property and rob the black card. So under the sudden task of the black card, Xie Tingzhou died. He died at the age of 45, and after his death, the unlimited black card took back all his property. That is why Xietingzhou, the first boss of the crossing division, came to reclaim this infinite black card. The moment Xietingzhou got this infinite black card, his soul was bound to this infinite black card. When he died, he would bring this infinite black card back to the crossing division. Host, your body is now at the peak of 20 years old. I believe you can complete the task. I'm going to write a report. I'll wait for you in the crossing division. 818 looked at his host's dark face and felt that something was wrong. He left this sentence and ran away. Xietingzhou was the only one left in the room. Xietingzhou, who had obtained all the memories of this body, spoke. Black card, I want to start the task. According to the information in the memory, the first task is simple and easy to do. Ding, hello host, making money is a game for greedy people, and spending money is a paradise for enjoyers. Please spend 10,000 yuan within 20 hours. The countdown starts now at 23 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Xietingzhou doesn't have a mobile phone now. He only has a black card in front of him, and he knows that 10,000 yuan is in the card. The taxi driver's business card that he had just seen when he was removing the wire from the trash can suddenly came to his mind. He picked up the phone on the table, pressed the number, and dialed it. Someone answered the phone soon. Hello. Xietingzhou said. Master, can you please come to Anyang County Cemetery to pick someone up? The driver on the other end of the phone was silent instantly. He was frightened by the word cemetery and wanted to hang up the phone directly, but heard Xietingzhou say. 5,000 yuan, master, are you coming? The master, who didn't hang up the phone, was silent for a while, and finally gritted his teeth. Come. Isn't it just a cemetery? Isn't it just going to the cemetery on Ghost Festival? You can give up your life. You can't give up 5,000 yuan. The driver made up his mind and drove towards Anyang County Cemetery. Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Zhanghu Buletin Jian. Chapter 2. The driver, Master Zhang, was at home more than 20 kilometers away from Anyang County. Originally, in July and a half, his family would go to the grave in the morning. Master Zhang took advantage of this day to take a lot of orders to go to the suburbs. They all come and go to worship their ancestors. The Anyang County Cemetery is right next to the crematorium, but there are few places for burials. Because the land is next to the top of the hill, it turned into a large cemetery over time. During the day, Master Zhang sent his family there go and worship. At this moment, at 1 o'clock in the morning, Master Zhang, who received a call from the customer, didn't want to go out. After all, the gates of ghosts are wide open during the Ghost Festival, and it is unlucky to go to the cemetery at ordinary times, let alone now. As a result, he was offered a price of 5,000 yuan. Just ask Master Zhang to agree on the spot. Driving the taxi towards the cemetery, Master Zhang turned on the car music and played festive songs like Good Days. He only earned about 7,000 yuan a month as a taxi driver. If this trip could really be with 5,000 yuan, he could enroll his daughter in her favorite learning summer camp. Originally, his family did not have the money, but now he went out for 5,000 yuan. I was in a festive mood all the way, but I wasn't that scared. After driving out of the city and slowly heading out to the suburbs, perhaps because of the Ghost Festival, the surrounding area became deserted. Not to mention there were people on the roadside. There were no lights on the roadside, and it was pitch black, which was really scary. But for 5,000 yuan, Master Zhang gritted his teeth and turned up the music volume. Along with the cheerful songs all the way, he finally arrived at the cemetery in Anyang County. When he drove over from a distance, he saw the numerous tombstones here. And the only light in this place. The car drove towards the room with lights. Master Zhang was extremely nervous. When he got there, he turned off the music, rolled down the car window, and shouted into the room. "Is there anyone? I'm the driver. I'm here to pick you up." On the way here, he said on the phone that someone was in the tomb guard's room. Master Zhang looked at the closed door eagerly, and his heart began to speed up nervously. Just hearing a squeaking sound, the door of the small room was pushed open, and a tall and handsome man in black sportswear walked out. As soon as Xie whose face appeared under the light, Master Zhang's heart instantly in my stomach, I breathed a sigh of relief. "Is it Master Zhang?" Xie Zhou closed the door of the tombkeeper's house and came to the car window to ask. "Yes, it's me. We talked on the phone." "Young man, please get in the car." When Master Zhang saw Xie whose face, which was even more handsome than the starlet in his daughter's mobile phone, his fear suddenly disappeared. He showed a warm smile and asked people to get in the car. Xie Zhou nodded, then opened the rear door and got into the car, saying, "Master Zhang, take me to the largest hotel here, preferably one with a shopping mall nearby." Upon hearing this, Master Zhang immediately let go of his other half and said cheerfully, "No problem, our biggest hotel in Daxi City is the Hilly Hotel, but it's a bit far away. I'm afraid it will take more than 2 hours to get there. There are shopping malls and car dealerships around here, little brother. Why are you at the cemetery in the middle of the night?" Taxi drivers tend to talk a lot, and Xie Zhou was not stingy about talking to the driver. "I came here to pay homage to my relatives during the day, but my car broke down. I thought about spending the night here, but it was too scary at night. I just happened to find your business card, Master Zhang, and made the call. It's really troublesome in the middle of the night. You." The dirt on his body has been cleaned away, and Xie whose face is white and pure. Is it possible that anyone can still think that this man climbed out of the grave? "So that's it?" "That's true. It's quite scary to be alone here. I was so scared when I drove here." Master Zhang was completely relaxed, just make sure he was picking up someone else, otherwise he would really scare people to death in the middle of the night. The two of them were chatting like this. In fact, Master Zhang was chattering most of the time. After all, he had to drive for more than 2 hours, so he couldn't stay silent all the time, right? Xie whose last world was a zombie world, and there happened to be no one to talk to. At that time, he was surrounded by those mindless and ugly zombies. Now he feels quite comfortable having someone to talk to with him. Just like that, 2 hours passed, and there happened to be no traffic at night. Master Zhang's taxi successfully arrived at the entrance of the Hillary Hotel. "Young man, this is the Hillary Hotel, our best hotel in Daxi City." Master Zhang stopped the car and turned to look at Xie Zhou, still very enthusiastic. "Are you planning to pay via Alipay or WeChat? 5,000 yuan, a few hours of busy work in one night can earn 5,000 yuan. Master Zhang's eyes were shining when he looked at Xie Zhou. "Swipe your card." Xie Zhou took out his black card and knew that Master Zhang had a card swiping machine and it was written on his business card. Okay, I'll get the POS machine right now." It seemed like a big customer. Master Zhang quickly took out his POS machine. After receiving the black card, I inserted it into the card slot. I thought I had never seen this black card before, but after entering 5,000 yuan on it, the receipt was issued directly without entering the password. I was suddenly surprised. Why doesn't your card have a password?" "Young man, what should I do if I lose it?" He quickly handed the black card and the documents that needed to be signed to Xie Zhou, who was sitting behind him. Both of them heard the honking of horns behind them. Beep sound. "It won't be lost." Xie Zhou laughed. "This infinite black card is bound to the soul, how could it be lost?" After thanking Master Zhang, he opened the door and got out of the car. Master Zhang was no fool. He locked the door before Xie Zhou swiped his card. When Xie Zhou got out of the car, Master Zhang started the car in surprise and hummed happily. Today is a good day, everything you want can come true. The driver hummed a song and left. Xieting Zhou had already entered the lobby of the Zirui Hotel under the enthusiastic guidance of the greeter at the door. I have to say that this Zirui Hotel is indeed a grand hotel. The entire hall is magnificent. It looks even more resplendent in the lights at night, giving people a gorgeous and golden feeling. Hotels in every city have targeted decorations. For Daxi City, such a splendid decoration makes it even more grand. What's more, the Hillary Hotel is located in the business district of the city, which is even more gorgeous. Does the guest have a reserved room? After entering, the new front desk lady was still smiling. While asking, she led Xieting Zhou to the rest area. As soon as the guests sat down, a waiter brought tea and snacks, all of which were exquisite. No, Xieting Zhou just wanted to find a comfortable place to rest. The softness of the sofa made him very relaxed. Then guests can choose several types of rooms in our hotel. This is a brochure, which contains various room types. If you like one, you can go to the front desk to check in. Of course, you can also ask me to help you check in. As soon as the front office lady entered Xieting Zhou's door, she could see that although Xieting Zhou was dressed simply and a little dirty, he was calm and dignified. The sneakers on his feet were extremely dirty, but they could tell they were fashionable brands. A pair cost several $1,000s. Naturally, such people can afford to stay in hotels. Xieting Zhou opened the brochure. The front was full of standard rooms and double rooms, and the back was executive suites, deluxe suites, and presidential suites. Since this city is an ordinary third-tier city, the price of a presidential suite is only 6,666. One night is really cheap. Sensing Xieting Zhou's gaze on the presidential suite, the front office lady immediately spoke. Guest, if you want to stay in the presidential suite today, our Hilton Hotel is currently offering a discount. You can check in at only 10% off and 5,999. You may consider it. Just when the front office lady was introducing the guest room to Xieting Zhou, a pot-bellied bald man walked over with his arms around a girl dressed in cool clothes. He happened to hear this and sneered. Can a person who comes by taxi afford to live in a presidential suite? I mean, Zhang Xiao, don't even offer him a 10% discount. Even if you break his bones, he can't afford it, okay? This man, who was less than 1.7 meters tall, sat on the sofa opposite Xieting Zhou with his arms around the woman next to him. He looked at Xieting Zhou deliberately and mockingly. He looked down on a poor guy like Xieting Zhou the most. He only had a coaxing face. He was willing to betray her, and a woman he pursued before ran away with such a pretty boy. Since my home was demolished, I have money, and the women around me have changed a lot. The bald man often comes to the hotel, and naturally he knows the front office lady here. He tried to do something in the past, but was warned by the hotel people before he stopped. Zhang Xiao was someone who had been harassed by a bald man. Even the front office lady looked good. At this moment, she cursed in her heart and looked at the bald man, but still raised the corners of her mouth with a commercial fake smile. Mr. Wang, I am receiving my new guest. Can you please let Zaiwai arrange a room for you first? It is so late, so you should rest first. As she spoke, she raised her head and glanced at Zaiwai behind the bald man, but she didn't expect that the bald man would not let her go. That's not possible. I want you to come and book a room for me today. What's wrong? When you see a pretty girl, you smile like a flower. When you see me, you don't want to entertain me. Customers are gods, do you understand? I'll give you a hotel for a month. How much do you want to contribute? I stay in the presidential suite for 20 days out of the 30 days. Are you going to make your hotel lose, my God? When the bald man spoke, he looked at Zhang Xiao wantonly, his fat body trembling, and he rubbed his hands irregularly on the woman next to him, which was really extremely obscene. Only then did Xie Zhou retract his gaze from the brochure. The moment he looked up at the bald man, the black card mission rang in his mind. Drop, start emergency mission. There are people who suspect that the host cannot afford to stay in the presidential suite. This is a heinous crime. The host is asked to spend 5 million within 20 minutes. This amount can only be used in this hotel. The countdown starts now at 1959. I see. Xie Zhou now understood why the owner of the infinite black card died unexpectedly. The person who used the card may be a coward, but this infinite black card has the heart of Long Aotian. With too many tasks like this, the cowardly host will not be killed. Played to death? The fat bald man noticed Xie Zhou's gaze, and felt that Xie Zhou's calm eyes seemed to be looking at him mockingly, which made him suddenly angry again, and said with a strange tone. Zheng Xiao, look at you, a new guest, who is not in a hurry. He might not even be able to afford a standard room. You look at some people who look good and just post them up. You don't even care about me, an old customer. Be careful. I'm going to complain to your manager. I want the presidential suite and the old room today. Why don't you give it to me quickly? He deliberately said this in front of Xie Zhou, and tried to take out his card slowly from his pocket, but he couldn't take it out for a long time because he was too fat. Zheng Xiao was a little helpless, knowing that the person in front of him was making things difficult for him, so he turned his head to look at Xie Zhou, intending to apologize and let Xiaowai serve the new guest first. How many rooms does your hotel have in total? Xie Zhou looked up at Zheng Xiao, as if he was just asking casually. There are more than 300 rooms in our hotel. In addition to the 300 standard rooms, there are 30 business suites and deluxe suites, and 3 presidential suites. If you want to stay in any room, it can be arranged, but I have to be busy first. How about I let Xiaowai handle the formalities for you? Her voice was still gentle and kind, but Xie Zhou saw the embarrassment of the woman in front of him. Thinking of the promotional page he had just seen, the standard rooms and king-size rooms were only more than 200 and 300, and the remaining business suites and deluxe suites were only about 3,000 to 5,000 a night. 5 million spent in this hotel is not enough. No, you go and handle it, swipe 5 million to deposit. This card has no password. From today on, I will book all the rooms in your hotel, and you only need to serve me in the future. As for some people who make my eyes uncomfortable, I hope I won't see them again. Xie Zhou calmly took out the black card and ID card from his pocket and handed them to the front desk lady Zheng Xiao in front of him. At this moment, under the soft light, the black bank card attracted everyone's attention, and Zheng Xiao's hand was trembling when she stretched out her hand to take the card. Their store had naturally received customers with black cards. Generally, those who could have black cards were all guests of the bank, and their assets were at least tens of millions. This was a big customer. Yes, customer, I will handle the deposit procedure for you right away. Zheng Xiao's face immediately flushed, and then she immediately gave Xiao Hui a look. Xiao Hui could work as a front desk lady in the lobby, so she naturally had a good eye, and she immediately walked quickly towards the door. When Zheng Xiao went to handle the deposit procedure, the 3 people in the rest area were silent. Xie Zhou was bored and flipping through the leaflets of the Hillray Hotel, but the bald fat man was already fidgeting. The moment he saw Xie Zhou take out the black card, he knew that he had offended someone he should not offend. At this time, his face was ugly, but because the woman was beside him, he could not say anything to apologize. His family was a demolition household, and they had lost more than 20 million yuan. He was also taken to the so-called circle. He had seen people use black cards and knew that the assets of people with black cards were incomparable to those of him who were demolished. At this time, he could only sit there stiffly. At this moment, a lobby manager in a suit had walked over quickly, followed by several security guards and front desk ladies. The lobby manager had received a notice from Zheng Xiao and was shocked to know that a big guest had deposited 5 million yuan to book all the rooms at the hotel. Especially after hearing Zheng Xiao's explanation of the situation, he immediately brought people over. "Mr. Xie, your deposit procedures are being processed and will be done soon. Don't worry, our Hillray Hotel will definitely give you the best service." He came up to greet Xie Tingzhou first, and after seeing Xie Tingzhou nod, he turned to face the bald man. "Mr. Wang, all the rooms in our hotel have been booked by Mr. Xie. Please move out temporarily so that we can better serve Mr. Xie." Seeing this fatty Wang, the lobby manager almost rolled his eyes. This fat man always harassed the hotel front desk lady, and the hotel almost called the police, so seeing such a person being slapped in the face, the lobby manager was naturally happy. As for the problem of losing the customer of this presidential suite, please. This fatty Wang almost harassed several front desk ladies who resigned. Do you think it is easy to recruit beautiful front desk ladies now? Besides, it's 5 million. Unless this fatty Wang comes to their hotel to live for 2 or 3 years, is it possible? The bald man sitting on the sofa looked ugly. After all, the other party said he was invited, but in fact he was kicked out. He felt very uncomfortable, but he could only get up obediently and didn't care about the people around him. Humph. I will never come to Hilton Hotel again. Your hotel looks down on people. After saying this, the bald man surnamed Wang dragged his fat body towards the door angrily, and the woman who came with him hurriedly followed him. From beginning to end, Xie Tingzhou only looked at him at the beginning. When Zheng Xiao came back with the card and ID card, less than 10 minutes later, he didn't see Mr. Wang anymore. Instead, he saw his manager being very attentive to Mr. Xie. "Mr. Xie, this is your top VIP card, with a deposit of 5 million in it. After deducting the cost of all the remaining empty rooms today, there are still 4.81 million left. You can use it for any consumption in our hotel. I hope you can stay happily in our Hilton Hotel." The moment Xie Tingzhou took the card and ID card, the black card prompt sound came again. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for completing the emergency task and successfully spending 5 million, slap the bald man in the face. The system cashback of 2.5 million has been transferred to the host card, please spend it at will. Hearing this voice, Xie Tingzhou raised his eyebrows and thought that this black card was quite interesting. He could play with it for a few days before going to find his wife and children. "I'm tired." He opened his mouth, and the lobby manager immediately said, "Zheng Xiao, why don't you take Mr. Xie to our presidential suite on the top floor to rest? Mr. Xie, just rest. If you need anything, you can notify Zheng Xiao. All our Hilton Hotel employees will provide you with the best service 24 hours a day." Zheng Xiao also knew the importance of this guest, and immediately took Xie Tingzhou to the exclusive presidential suite elevator upstairs, and worked hard with the presidential suite butler to serve this big customer. As Xie Tingzhou disappeared, the lobby manager couldn't help but smile. Zai came over and asked quietly, "Manager Zhang, how long can this 5 million book all the rooms in our hotel? Mr. Xie is so rich." Manager Zhang glanced at the curious Zai and shook his head mysteriously. "It doesn't matter how many days it's booked. The important thing is to make Mr. Xie feel at home. I'm going to notify the general manager now. I guess there will be a temporary meeting because of Mr. Xie later. You notify everyone and let everyone be prepared. This is a 5 million hotel booking business." Manager Zhang quickly picked up his phone to make a call. He had not taken care of anything just now. He was only concerned with keeping Xie Tingzhou, a big customer. While everyone in the hotel was busy and discussing about Xie Tingzhou was already lying in the hot spring bathtub in the presidential suite and enjoying himself. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Zhanghu Buletin. Chapter 3. After returning to the normal world from the apocalyptic world, Xietingzhou, who had taken a comfortable hot spring bath at night, relaxed himself rarely and slept until 12:30 in the daytime on the soft big bed. He didn't know that at 4 o'clock in the morning last night, the entire Zirui hotel held an intense meeting because of his luxury client. The focus of this meeting was how to serve this big client who spent 5 million to book their entire Zirui hotel. Lu Daqian, the general manager of Zirui, crawled out of the bed overnight and came to the hotel, just to meet this big client who spent a lot of money and get to know the client. At 12:43, the sun, which had not yet become scorching at noon, lazily sprinkled through the gauze window and fell on the man who was trapped in the middle of the white silk bed. Xietingzhou maintained the state and appearance of his original peak at the age of 20. At this time, he lay there with a white and flawless back, and his smooth skin like milk outlined a soft arc, seemingly without any fighting power. Xietingzhou turned over, and the diluted sunlight sprinkled on his face in bits and pieces. He stretched out his arms to cover his forehead and the sunlight. Such a leisurely life was rare for Xietingzhou. There was no howling of zombies around, but a peaceful atmosphere. Xietingzhou opened his eyes, and after getting used to the bright light, he moved his arms away. His cold and comfortable face showed his good mood. He opened the quilt, and the person who looked extremely fragile from behind actually had a clean and neat mermaid line in front of him, which was trapped in the black boxer briefs. The simple muscle lines were uniquely beautiful. Getting up from the bed, Xietingzhou pressed the housekeeper's bell, picked up the nightgown on the shelf beside him and casually put it on. There was movement at the door soon. The housekeeper Xiaolin of the general suite and the front desk lady Zhang Xiao came in. "Mr. Xie, you are up now. Do you need to arrange meals? Our music restaurant on the 8th floor has prepared a variety of Chinese and Western meals, which can also be delivered to the room." Butler Xiaolin was very enthusiastic. Zhang Xiao, the front desk lady next to him, saw Xietingzhou wearing only a nightgown as soon as she entered the door. The seductive abdominal muscles in the open nightgown were so attractive that people dared not look at them for a second time. Zhang Xiao's ears were red, but she still spoke. "Mr. Xie, when I and Butler Xiaolin were packing your clothes last night, we found that your clothes were dirty and difficult to deal with, so I bought you clothes and shoes of the same brand. They have been ironed. If you need them, I will get them for you right away." Before 12 o'clock in the morning, all the guests in the Hilton Hotel had checked out yesterday. According to Mr. Xie's intention, the hotel fee of 240,000 yuan for today had been deducted, so now all the staff of the entire hotel, 170 employees, are ready to serve Mr. Xie at any time. In the morning, they bought new clothes for Mr. Xie, all of which were washed and ironed and could be worn directly. Not only that, the 20 chefs in the restaurant have been preparing since morning, just to serve such a customer. Xietingzhou looked at the man and woman in work suits in front of him, and he really felt that having money really makes people feel good. You don't have to think about many things, and the people around you will think about them for you. The staff of the Hillray Hotel are quite discerning. "Well, bring the new clothes here, throw away the old ones, I will go to the restaurant to eat later, I will taste both Chinese and Western food, let the chef watch and prepare." The two heard what Xietingzhou meant, and hurriedly began to make arrangements. Zhang Xiao went to get the new clothes and shoes that he had just bought in the morning, from head to toe, even including underwear and socks, and he was eager to put them on Xietingzhou. When Xietingzhou changed into sportswear, the young man in black sportswear was obviously dressed casually, but Zhang Xiao and the housekeeper Xiaolin felt that they dared not look at him more, and led Xietingzhou to the music restaurant on the 8th floor for dinner. As soon as I came out of the elevator, the piano music was flowing slowly like the sound of running water. The elegant and light piano sound made people relax unconsciously. The meal afterwards was very comfortable. Each chef's specialty was served and tasted. After eating 2 bites, Sieting Joe stopped eating when he was 7/10 full. Hilton's general manager Lou Dakian appeared at this time. "Mr. Xie, I'm sorry to bother you. I am Lou Dakian, the general manager of Hilton Hotel. I should have welcomed you last night, but I heard that you were resting, so I didn't bother you. I came here to meet you now. Thank you for choosing to stay in our Hilton Hotel. I welcome Mr. Xie to stay on behalf of all Hilton employees. If you have any questions, Mr. Xie can tell the housekeeper Xiaolin, and we can arrange it immediately." Lou Dakian is a middle-aged man in his 40s. This hotel was opened by asking his family for money. Seeing that Sieting Joe was so young and spent a lot of money, he was naturally very enthusiastic. The two shook hands, and Sieting Joe also gave face. "Hello, Mr. Liu. I am very satisfied with the service of your hotel. From now on, any of my consumption can be directly deducted from the prepaid card. However, I like quietness and hope that no outsiders will disturb me before I leave. Of course, Mr. Xie, rest assured, besides the service staff, the only distinguished guest of our hotel is you. As long as you give an order, we will go through fire and water to fulfill Mr. Xie's wish." Lou Dakian repeatedly assured that after all, it was too easy to earn 5 million. In the past, even during the peak period, 5 million was a year's performance. But if one person booked a hotel, it would be less than a month. 5 million is a net profit, right? Well, then please help me arrange a few cars, Mr. Liu, I plan to go shopping. Sieting Joe was not polite. He had figured out the mechanism of the black card. This card has a heart of long AOTN. If you do high-end consumption and spend everything in the hotel, it would be boring. Before meeting his wife and children, Sieting Joe planned to swipe the task limit of this unlimited black card, so that when he met his wife and children, he could give them more sense of security. "No problem, of course no problem, I will arrange the hotel's fleet to follow you to the Nebula building." Lou Dakian smiled and narrowed his eyes. Although the Nebula building is only 2 streets away from their Hilton, it is to highlight the service of their hotel. How can the guests walk there? Fleet. The fleet was arranged immediately. So when Sieting Joe left the hotel, Lou Dakian parked his favorite car, a low-key black Maybach, at the door for the hotel driver to use, specifically to serve Sieting Joe. The others following behind were all ordinary black Mercedes-Benz. The Hillray Hotel has professional shuttle buses, and of course there are Mercedes-Benz subs arranged for luxury customers, which are generally used for special pickup and drop-off. At this moment, all the people sitting in it are hotel staff. Sieting Joe sat in the first car, and the butler Xiaolin was driving. He was wearing a black suit and white gloves, and even his hair was meticulous. He was really very professional. The front desk lady Zhang Xiao was sitting in the co-pilot, also in a blue professional suit. She was a little nervous sitting in the front, and occasionally stole a glance at Sieting Joe sitting in the back through the rear-view mirror. Last night, many Hillray Hotel service staff gathered together to talk about this strange customer, but Zhang Xiao felt that this face of Mr. Xie seemed to have been seen somewhere before, but it seemed that he couldn't remember it for a while. The car drove steadily on the road, and soon arrived at the Nebula building, and went directly into the garage. The Mercedes-Benz behind followed in. When Sieting Joe got out of the car and took the elevator upstairs under the guidance of the housekeeper Xiaolin, the hotel service staff in black suits and blue business suits followed behind him. The aura was really great. The elevator went from the lower 3 floors to the first floor. When the elevator door opened, Sieting Joe, who was wearing a black sportswear, was the most relaxed. The housekeeper Xiaolin stretched out his hand to cover the elevator door. After Sieting Joe walked out, the people behind him filed out and followed him. With so many staff members in black suits and white gloves, plus the Hilton Hotel's front etiquette lady and front desk lady following him, Sieting Joe can be said to have attracted a lot of people's attention at once. However, he walked very calmly and didn't care about the people following behind him at all. After walking for more than 10 meters, I suddenly saw an advertisement on the wall of a mobile phone store in front of me. In the advertisement, blue waves washed the beach, and a boy in a white shirt was running on the beach. His clean and pure smile seemed to make the whole summer full of happiness. He had two dimples when he smiled, as if he could sweeten people's hearts. Yo-Yo 13, record your happy moments. The boy's smiling voice seemed to be transmitted, and Sieting Joe almost couldn't control himself and walked towards the billboard. On the billboard that kept repeating, the boy's bright smile was full of happiness and joy, which made Sieting Joe couldn't help but reach out his hand and almost touch the boy's dimples. In the lower right corner of the advertisement, it was written spokesperson Siezeng. Without being reminded, Sieting Joe recognized the identity of the boy. Siezeng looked very similar to Sieting Joe, with the same cold white skin, thin lips, and the curvature of the nose bridge that seemed to be repeatedly carved. Only his eyes looked like his mother's peach blossom eyes, and there were dimples that belonged only to his mother, making him look like a person who could bring happiness to others. It's just that in memory, this child was still in swaddling clothes, but now he has grown up, and he is very similar to his father. Zhang Xiao was also stunned at this time. The moment she saw this advertisement, she finally remembered why she felt that Mr. Xie looked familiar. This Mr. Xie looks so similar to Siezeng, the traffic star her sister is chasing. It's just that Mr. Xie has phoenix eyes, and the whole person looks indifferent and noble, as if he can't smile at all, unlike this little star Siezeng, who smiles sweetly and makes people want to hug him. Take a sneak peek at Mr. Xie's appearance. Does it seem that he knows Siezeng? The age difference between these two people should not be big. Are they brothers? Zhang Xiao felt as if he knew some big secret, and his heart was boiling, but he dared not say a word. Sieting Joe did not expect that before he went to find his wife and children, this child would jump out by himself, but when he met him, Sieting Joe thought that he could help this child's career first. He walked towards the mobile phone store. It was just past 1 in the afternoon, and there were not many people in the store. As Sieting Joe entered, the housekeeper Xiaolin and Zhang Xiao followed closely behind. The others were standing outside the door, looking even more aura and a little scary. "Hello, sir, which mobile phone do you need to see?" The waiter of the yo-yo store quickly spoke enthusiastically, and Sieting Joe saw the poster of Siezeng on the table. He stretched out his hand and pointed to the C report. "I want the phone endorsed by Siezeng." The waiter was a little surprised to see that this cold guest was actually a fan of stars, but he quickly and enthusiastically took out the Yo-Yo 13 prototype endorsed by Siezeng to show the guest in front of him. "Sir, this Yo-Yo 13 you are looking at is the latest camera phone under our brand. The main feature is the 80 million high-definition camera, which records all the beautiful moments of your life. Of course, if you are a fan of Siezeng, we will give you a poster signed by Siezeng himself and 10 exclusive star cards when you buy the phone. In this phone, there is even an exclusive ringtone recorded by Siezeng himself." Since Siezeng endorsed their yo-yo phone a week ago, the waiter has received many fans. Speaking of these introductions, they are very enthusiastic. After all, fans buy things based on the spokesperson, not the performance at all, and they don't need their waiters to introduce too many things. They buy the kind of things just for the peripherals. Sieting Joe heard the waiter's introduction and found Siezeng's exclusive ringtone in the mobile phone prototype. He clicked it and the young man's clear and energetic voice rang out in the quiet mobile phone store. "My little cutie, someone is calling. If you don't answer it, I will be angry." The cute ringtone was played repeatedly, but Sieting Joe seemed to never get tired of it. He listened to it several times. After listening to it, he spoke. "I want this phone. How many of this phone do you have in your store?" His slightly raised phoenix eyes seemed to have a little more smile, but it was fleeting. This sentence made Zheng Xiao behind him feel a little bit nervous, thinking that something bad was going to happen. Don't worry, this is the latest model of our Yo-Yo mobile phone, the price is 3,999. We had 300 new phones before, and 96 were sold this week. Now there are 204 in the store. If you need it, I will get it for you. At this moment, the waiter didn't know what he would face, and Zheng Xiao had already unconsciously looked at the man standing in front of him, and felt his heartbeat unconsciously began to speed up. A mobile phone is only 4,000 yuan, and 200 phones are only 1 million, which is really cheap. Xieting Zhou directly took out his black card, still calm. I want all these 204 phones, just swipe the card, and send them to the Hillray Hotel after packing them. Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Zhanghu Buletin Jian. Chapter 4. This sentence immediately shocked the waiter. Zheng Xiao felt as if his frantic heart suddenly had some relief, and he felt that it was indeed the case. The butler Xiao Lin on the side was also stunned for a moment, not knowing what to say. First of all, sir, are you serious? Do you really want to buy 204 units? For more than 200 units, you can get the purchase price directly. Is it possible that this gentleman purchased the goods? The waiters were so frightened that they stuttered. Xieting Zhou handed the card to the butler Xiao Lin beside him, then picked up the poster belonging to Xiezing on the table, shook it, and then showed his first smile of the day. Yes, I am Xiezing's fan. Remember my posters and cards. Is this considered Xiezing's achievement? After all, celebrity endorsements also require performance. If the goods endorsed by a celebrity are sold out, it will prove that the celebrity fans have strong spending power. Xieting Zhou has this unlimited black card, so he must support his son's career. Forget it, don't worry, guest, I will arrange the receipt for you. If you buy so much, I will call the manager and arrange a preferential price for you. The waiter suddenly came over and hurriedly took the receipt. In a large shopping mall like this, he would only swipe the card after writing the receipt. No discount is needed, I am not short of money. If you must give a discount, remember to send me more posters. Xieting Zhou lowered his head and his eyes just fell on Xiezing's face on the poster. He suddenly couldn't wait to see his son. Although the original owner didn't care, after Xieting Zhou entered this body, his relationship with his wife and his expectations for the child changed. All affected Xieting Zhou. Compared with the original owner who did anything for money, he preferred when there were people around him and it was lively. Some people want posters but not discounts. The waiter was shocked, but he quickly issued the receipt as Xieting Zhou requested. The butler Xiao Lin also played a role at this time. Give me the receipt, and I'll go to Mr. Metabolism to swipe your card. The waiter handed the receipt of more than 1 million yuan to the housekeeper Xiao Lin. He originally wanted to follow him, but he was afraid that this big customer would run away, so he could only stay here. He was flustered and looked at the people in black suits at the door. And I am afraid that I have met a liar. In less than 10 minutes, the housekeeper Xiaolin came over and brought a receipt from the mall. When the receipt of more than 1 million yuan was handed over to the waiter, she suddenly breathed a sigh of relief and checked to see if the receipt had really been received. After more than 1 million, I felt relieved. Guest, I will arrange for someone to pack and send it to you. Not only that, I will also apply with the store manager for more posters from Xiezing's private collection to give to you. I hope you have a happy shopping and happy star chasing. Groupies are so rich. Woohoo! The waiter was envious of his real name. This time he really understood why mobile phone brands hire celebrities to endorse him. Just by meeting such a big shot and chasing stars, a single transaction can cost millions. I'm so envious. Well, just take apart a mobile phone for me now and take it away later. What is this? Xieting Zhou nodded. After getting the black card, he finally put down the poster reluctantly and said to the waiter. He found something similar to a fan pressed under the glass booth, with Xiezing's smiling face on it. The fan was originally hidden under the waiter's book, but now it appeared. This is a fan that chases stars. A little girl who chased stars forgot it here a few days ago. This is Xiezing. He picked up the fan and handed it to the star chaser in front of him, and the waiter introduced it. This was the first time for Xieting Zhou to see this thing. He took the fan and observed it carefully. On one side of the square fan, there was Xiezing wearing a sky blue t-shirt, and on the other side, Xiezing held his face and tilted his head in a cute way. The more I watch it, the more I like it. Xieting Zhou simply can't put it down. Can I take this with me? He said this somewhat presumptuously and added. You can take a photo. If that star-chasing girl comes back, I will give her a mobile phone endorsed by Xiezing and treat her as if I took away the gift of the fan, okay. After all, this is something that someone has lost. If he comes back to look for it, wouldn't he be sad if he can't find it? The waiter never expected that this big guy was not only a star-chasing fan, but also such a logical star-chasing person that he had to compensate others for taking their things. Of course. We at Yo-Yo have a professional public account where you can post information to find this little girl. I believe she will be very happy that you like her fan. Don't worry, if you take this fan away, our store will also I will give the little girl some Xiezing's peripheral products, please don't worry. The other party is a big shot who spent $1 million. Naturally, the waiter immediately made clear arrangements for the little girl. Not to mention asking the big boss in front of me to pay for a mobile phone, even if the store owner himself is willing to give it to him. Millions of orders were sold in just 10 minutes, and the waiter's blood boiled just thinking about the commission. Yeah, that's good. Xieting Zhou felt relieved now, shaking this cute square fan in his hand, which was incompatible with his cold temperament. If you don't look carefully, you really wouldn't think that Xieting Zhou and Xiezing are much similar, because their temperaments are completely different. One is a cute little sun, and the other is a cold and noble iceberg. They don't look like the same kind of people at all. Another waiter on the side had already opened the new Yo-Yo 13 mobile phone, and came over and handed it to the sister Zhang who sold the mobile phone. Do you need to change your SIM card? I can change it for you now. Service is naturally one step. Xieting Zhou didn't have a SIM card, so he said directly. Please apply for a card for me and choose a suitable number. This mobile phone store can naturally handle mobile phone card services, the waitress Zhang said immediately. Of course, our store can not only apply for phone cards for you, but also exclusive numbers. You see, this batch of exclusive numbers has the first 3 digits and the last 8 digits are 66668888, which is easy to remember. You bought so many mobile phones in our store, and we will give you this number for free. Sister Zhang was very considerate. Xieting Zhou handed over his ID card and asked the other party to apply for a phone card. It was done in a short while. Of course, even if everyone knew Xieting Zhou's phone number, it is estimated that no one would dare to call in the end. Xieting Zhou successfully got the Yo-Yo 13 endorsed by his son, and the screensaver of his mobile phone was all Xiezing's cute smile. I couldn't help but think of his wife Huang Xinyu in my memory, who also had such lovely dimples when she smiled. Although time has passed and he hasn't seen his wife for nearly 20 years, Xieting Zhou's wife is still very beautiful in his memory. It's just that he abandoned his wife and children for 20 years. Xieting Zhou didn't know whether his presumptuous return would disturb his wife and children, but as long as he saw Xiezing, the feeling of flesh and blood in his body made Xieting Zhou feel particularly comfortable. He will definitely go back and will find ways to make his son accept him, and let his wife and daughter accept him as well. Let's go outside, Xieting Zhou said, and Zheng Xiao and housekeeper Xiaolin followed immediately. Just now, housekeeper Xiaolin had notified a hotel staff member to stay in the mobile phone store, and he would arrange the subsequent handover with the staff of the mobile phone store later. Oh my god, yesterday, he booked the entire Zirui hotel for 5 million, and today he spent 1 million. Zheng Xiao felt numb, and he didn't even feel jealous or hate. But the housekeeper Xiaolin had seen many rich people, so he was very calm at this time. He followed Xie Tingzhou and knew that a rich young master like Xie Tingzhou spent hundreds of millions, just like ordinary people spending hundreds of dollars. When Xie Tingzhou came out of the Yo-Yo mobile phone store, many store owners secretly came to the door to see the situation. The Xingyun building is a chain store. Someone spent a large amount of 1 million today, so there was naturally a notice. The mall also hopes to promote consumption. There are information notices for major brands so that everyone can serve this big customer well. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for completing the first 10,000 yuan consumption task, double cashback 20,000 yuan, has been transferred to the host card, please keep up the good work, create more glory. As Xie Tingzhou left, the reminder sound of the black card in his mind was encouraging. He was wearing a black sports suit and holding a fan that only star-chasing girls would like. The cute smiling face of Xie Xing on the fan seemed completely out of place with such a cold person. Behind Xie Tingzhou, more than 20 staff members of Zirui followed behind him. On the left, there was a string of handsome men in black suits and white gloves, and on the right, there was a string of beautiful women in professional suits with black shoes and long legs. It can be said that the facade of Zirui Hotel followed here. Such a grand scene made many service staff in the store look over quietly, guessing that the one who spent a large amount of 1 million might be this young man, who looked so aura. The prying eyes of the people around him were nothing to Xie Tingzhou. When he was in the apocalyptic world, there were zombies everywhere looking at him. He was used to being stared at in various ways. As long as they were not enemies, everything would be fine. The first floor of this big shopping mall is indeed magnificent. The scent floating in the air is the smell of expensive perfume, which makes you feel the smell of money dissipating while shopping. The first floor of the Nebula building is almost all luxury stores, including all kinds of big-name cosmetics, watches, clothing, bags, etc. It's a pity that Xie Tingzhou is not interested in this stuff now. Just as he walked forward, he found that there was a black cool off-road vehicle in the floor-to-ceiling glass window of the whole wall in the right corner, which immediately attracted Xie Tingzhou's attention. In addition to driving a fighter jet, Xie Tingzhou's favorite thing is to drive off-road. He walked towards the Ford store in front, and everyone behind him followed him. He didn't think that Xie Tingzhou, who had just spent 1 million in the mobile phone store, only had 1.5 million now, and it was impossible for him to buy a luxury car. Unfortunately, when Xie Tingzhou arrived at the door of the Ford store, he was approached by a man with a gold chain around his neck and 3 strands of blue hair. He looked like a nouveau riche. Behind him, there were 3 people following him, 2 carrying things, and 1 holding a selfie stick to broadcast live to the blue-haired man. Today I will take you to see the most luxurious Ford store in the Nebula building. This Ford store that opened a store in a large department store is quite capable. As long as you have money, you can buy any kind of luxury car here. Today I will take you to broaden your horizons. Lan Mao introduced it to everyone with a smile. The big diamond ring and green water ghost watch on his hand were both very rich. He is a very famous local tyrant anchor on Douyin. He specializes in taking fans to see the world of various rich people. The purpose of this stop is to take fans to visit the latest limited edition of the Pagani supercar Son of Wind imported from the Nebula building Ford store. There are more than 100 units in the world. This Pagani supercar is no longer sold and produced in the world. It is truly out of stock. Just as Lan Mao was talking, he also saw Xie Tingzhou walking over, and the frontman of the Hillary Hotel following Xie Tingzhou, and he suddenly made a speechless expression. Brothers. Today I met a pretentious person who is more pretentious than me. He went out alone on the street with a lot of bodyguards in black suits and long-legged beauties. I lost. He said this, but he looked at Sieting Joe calmly. After a few glances, he could see that the sportswear on Sieting Joe was just an ordinary brand, and it only cost less than tens of thousands of yuan. Good guy. Is this playing restrained or high profile? She's even more playful than him. The barrage on the mobile phone was all about Kong Kong, Kong Kong. Lan Mao was not polite and walked directly towards Sieting Joe. Then a warm smile appeared on his face, and he seemed to be extremely familiar with him. Brother. Are you coming to see the car too? What car do you want to see? I know a little about cars, why don't I give you a reference? I know the boss here, maybe we can get a discount. Lan Mao can do live broadcasts, so he is naturally the kind of person who suffers from social anxiety. Now he was stopped by Sieting Joe. At this time, the camera behind him began to scan Sieting Joe and the Hilton staff. They were really dark and looked full of aura. Without reaching out to hit the smiling man, Sieting Joe glanced at the camera over there and looked at Lan Mao in front of him. Okay, let's go together. As soon as he agreed, the mechanical sound of Haika sounded in his mind again. Drop, start an emergency mission to show off your wealth, please let the viewers in the live broadcast room see Shenhao's money charm, ask the host to spend 100 million within half an hour, this amount can only be spent in this Force store, countdown to 29:59. Sieting Joe raised his lips slightly. He really understood the mission logic of this so-called infinite black card system. He wanted to be long Aotian, and he wanted to be sought after and envied by everyone. As long as the attention was large enough, the system mission and the amount is released more. Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Zhanghu Buletin Jian. Chapter 5. After entering this body, Sieting Joe naturally reviewed all the memories of the original owner. Since getting this infinite black card, the original owner has embarked on the road of becoming rich overnight, but it is completely different from the route designed by the system for Long Aotian. He changed his appearance, but he was timid about spending money. The system task release of the infinite black card seems illogical, but it has logic. Once the host is looked down upon or watched by others, it will quickly release a face-slapping task, allowing the host to suppress the scene with money. Even if the original owner Sietunan got this infinite black card, he was afraid of being known and explored by others. He spent money secretly, which led to the infinite black card always releasing tasks at strange times. This is the reason for Sietunan's death. Sieting Joe is completely different. He plans to spend money openly, and even use these words and eyes from the outside world to let the system release tasks. You know, spending money is the easiest thing in the world. As for the original owner Sietunan's worry, there is no need to worry. This world was originally constructed based on this infinite black card. If this world is a book, then the infinite black card is the pillar that supports this world. Therefore, the money deducted from the infinite black card is traceable and no one will find anything wrong. After accepting this task, Sieting Joe walked into the Force store, and Lan Mao introduced himself beside him. Brother, my surname is Lan, and my given name is Huan. I am 27 years old this year. I am an online anchor. After entering the store, my live camera will be on all the time. Do you mind being in the camera? Lan Huan was originally a rich second generation. He became an online celebrity because it was fun. He did not look down on Sieting Joe because of what he wore. Instead, he thought that some poor people were also fun. He had a few poor friends who played well. Don't mind. My surname is Siet. I am older than you. Not much older, just a teenager. Sieting Joe gave Lan Huan a good look in front of him. This is a qualified money-making tool. In the live broadcast, Lan Huan was originally good-looking, but when he met the cold white and photogenic Xie, it was completely different. When Xie appeared on the screen, the whole screen was full of handsome guys. Okay, then I'll call you Brother Xie. Brother Xie, what car are you going to see? I heard from the boss that the store had delivered a Pagani Zonda, so I came here to watch the fun. Lan Huan was extremely enthusiastic, and he called Brother Xie so smoothly. Rich people are like this, smiling at everyone they see, and having more friends means more ways. I want to see off-road. As soon as Xie said this, the Ford's store staff who came over heard it. This was a middle-aged man in work clothes. He was manager Meng of the store. Today, he specially invited Lan Huan to come to their store to increase their popularity. Lan Huan was a second-generation rich man, and his friends were all rich sons. Just buying a few cars would be enough for their turnover. Mr. Lan, you are finally here. Is this your friend? What's his name? Manager Meng saw Xie standing with Lan Huan and thought they were friends. He also thought Lan Huan was trying to attract business for their store. This is Brother Xie. You can just call him Mr. Xie. Brother Xie wants to see an off-road vehicle. Lan Huan was not polite and said with a smile. Does Mr. Xie have a favorite brand? Or style? Our store has them all. If they are not available, you can also go to the main store to order them. You will definitely be satisfied. While talking, Manager Meng saw the people following Xie. He had been to the nearby Hilly Hotel, so he naturally saw that the people following behind were the staff of the Hilly Hotel. But why were so many people outside the door? That one, I want to see it. Xie whose eyes fell on the off-road vehicle that attracted him. Lan Huan also looked over and immediately blew a rogue whistle as if he wanted to see a beautiful woman. Hey, Brother Xie, you have a good eye. This Maybach G is a top-level off-road vehicle. This model is the treasure of the store, right? I remember that the interior and power have been modified. It is limited to 99 units worldwide and has been exhibited here for 2 years. Lan Huan has seen it many times, but unfortunately he is short of money. How can he afford such an expensive Mercedes-Benz G? Yes, what Mr. Lan said is right. This Mercedes-Benz G is limited to 99 units worldwide. It was snatched by our boss as the treasure of the store. After the interior and power have been modified, it is indeed valuable. But Mr. Xie likes it. Why don't you come and have a look? Manager Meng is very enthusiastic. Whether people buy it or not, he is happy to introduce it. The 3 people quickly came to the front of this Mercedes-Benz G. The black off-road vehicle is full of wildness. The smooth and hard lines remind people of a steel-like man. The body adopts a square and tough design, giving people a rough and strong sense of explosion. It is really beautiful. It is said that cars are men's favorite. Xie fell in love with this car at first sight. He likes the feeling of off-road driving on the road. The live camera was also rotating around this top-level Mercedes-Benz G-Class, allowing netizens to truly see how exciting this global limited edition Maybach G650 is. Fans in the live broadcast room were drooling and only regretted why they were not rich. This Maybach was snatched by our boss at that time. The official price was at least 18 million. At that time, there were customs duties and various modifications. It cost our boss several million more. So far, it is my only one. The boss drove it during a test drive and it has always been the treasure of our store. If Mr. You can try it if you want. Manager Meng actually doesn't care whether Xie buys it or not. After all, Mr. Lan has many brothers. He can't afford this treasure of the store. Other cars are still okay. You can make money by selling a few cars worth millions. Let these. It's okay for a rich man to test a car. The housekeepers Xiaolin and Zheng Xiao were following behind. Watching people taking pictures back and forth with their cell phone cameras, Zheng Xiao felt that her palms were sweating. She didn't know why she thought of Mr. Xie's black card, and she just felt that she might have to ask her again. Something shocking happened. Lan Huan didn't say anything. He didn't care whether Xie Zhou could really buy this 30 million car. He just looked at this top-of-the-line Hummer with admiration and said to himself that in ancient times, there were swords and BMWs to accompany heroes. Now, although his family is also rich, but if he spends 30 million to buy such a car, his parents will have to break his legs. But if you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. It's always okay to take a look, right? While Lan Huan was admiring this 30 million car, Xie Zhou had already taken out his black card. As soon as Manager Meng's introduction ended, he saw a black card being handed over. Manager Meng, who had seen the world, was also stunned, knowing that those with black cards were not ordinary people. Lan Huan was also shocked by the black card. He had seen this thing before, and his father only had one, but he didn't have it. At most, it was just a credit card worth several million, which he would pay back at home after swiping it. I want this car. Pay the full amount by credit card and send it to the Hilton Hotel. Xie Zhou said this in an understatement, but the entire Ford store suddenly fell silent. Everyone was shocked into silence. The barrage in the live broadcast room went crazy for an instant, and all the comments on the screen were "This is acting, right? Do you really want to buy it? Is this the world of rich people?" The audience was also shocked by this act of spending 30 million. The hands of the filming staff who were holding mobile phone selfie sticks shook several times. "Thank you, Mr. Xie, do you really want to buy it?" Manager Meng felt like he was just dreaming now. They paid 30 million to buy a car. Their treasure has been selling for 3 years, but they are going to sell it? Thank you, brother. You're awesome. It's the first time I've seen someone who buys a car the same as buying groceries. You are the one. Lan Huan raised his thumb, his eyes sparkling at this time. He looked at Xie Zhou with admiration. He naturally knew that Xie Zhou would not lie. Would someone who could get a black card be a liar? Xie Zhou turned his head and glanced at Lan Huan. Is buying a car the same as buying groceries? He repeated these words, but with an inexplicable softness, and then actually took the black card back, causing Manager Meng's hand that had just stretched out to take the card to pause in the air. The atmosphere was awkward for a moment. Manager Meng wanted to say something, but saw Xie Zhou walking forward. There are huge floor-to-ceiling windows here. The left side faces the inside of the shopping mall, and the right side faces the pedestrian street outside. Therefore, there are luxury cars in the store on display on the left and right sides. Next to the Maybach is a flaming red supercar. This is the Ferrari LaFerrari, the top sports car among supercars. It is limited to 499 copies worldwide. Although it has been on sale for a long time, it is still loved by the rich. This red color is as noble as the goddess is something that people don't dare to reach for, and the price is naturally very beautiful. When it was released that year, the official guide price was 22.5 million. How much does this red supercar cost? Manager Meng was still regretting not grabbing the black car just now, but he reacted immediately. This is a Ferrari LaFerrari, limited to 499 units worldwide. If you buy it in our store, the current market price is 36 million. The more top-notch supercars are, the more expensive they will be, even if they are older. Especially limited editions are very popular among the rich. 30 million, 36 million, still a little short. Xie Zhou walked forward again, and this time he saw the world-class supercar Pagani Zonda that Lan Huan had dreamed of. This supercar is known as a work of art in the supercar world. Its blue lines are extremely smooth, outlining a cool and noble appearance. It is as beautiful as a Transformers and thrilling. It is also called the Ghost Sun. It is limited to 106 units worldwide. Volume, and has now been discontinued. How much does this car cost? It was really like asking the price of cabbage at the vegetable market. Xie Joe was surprised by the supercar in front of him, but he still felt that he preferred Hummer off-road. Mr. Xie, this Pagani Zonda is limited to 106 units worldwide and has been discontinued. Therefore, the price is high and the maintenance cost is also high. My boss bought it from a foreign collector. It was originally intended to be displayed in the store. If so, the price of 28 million can be taken away. 66 million, 28 million, still not enough to reach 100 million. The system gave 100 million, but Xie Joe was still short of 6 million when he bought these three cars, so he frowned and everyone around him was stunned. They didn't understand why the rich Mr. Xie was unhappy. Lan Huan said nothing, just watching to see if Xie Joe really wanted to buy such an expensive car, or if he was just talking nonsense and watching the excitement with the filming staff. Manager Meng wanted to speak, but he didn't know what to say at the moment. Are there any more cars worth 6 million? Xie Joe looked at Manager Meng and asked the professionals. Manager Meng was not unhappy after being downgraded from tens of millions to 6 million, and still had a friendly smile on his face. Of course, we have the Rolls-Royce Dawn Phantom series in our store. The price is just around 6 million. Mr. Xie, would you like to know more about it? Since Douyin became popular these days, Rolls-Royce is most familiar to young people on the internet, and its name is even more popular than Lamborghini. This time it's exactly 100 million. Lan Huan and others followed Xie Joe. Actually, they didn't understand what Xie Joe meant by asking these questions. Didn't he say that he wanted to buy that big G before? Zheng Xiao's palms were already covered with sweat, and a secret thought was growing in his heart. For some reason, he remembered Mr. Xie's calmness when he asked how many rooms there were in the hotel. The next moment, he heard Xie Hu's voice. Then add a Rolls-Royce, and the three cars I just asked about, a total of 100 million. Just swipe the full payment by credit card, swipe the card first, and then sign the contract. Xiaolin, follow along and handle it. Xie Joe handed the black card in his hand to the housekeeper Xiaolin. His words were said lightly, but it was like dropping a bomb in such a store, causing everyone to lose their thoughts. The housekeeper Xiaolin wore white gloves and took the black card with both hands. He knew that this black card had no password, but he didn't expect that even if he swiped RMB 100 million, he didn't need a password. Mr. Xie, do you really want these four cars? Manager Meng's face turned red with excitement and he could hardly speak. Xie Joe was extremely calm, as if the person who spent 100 million was not him. Well, I can swipe the card within 10 minutes. Can Manager Meng do it? This is an opportunity to make big money. Of course. Of course. I'll go right away. Manager Meng was so excited that he almost ran with the housekeeper Xiaolin. He hurriedly went to make an order for Xiaolin to pay. Lan Huan, who was standing there, was also stunned, and his jaw almost dropped. At this time, he felt that even giving Xie Joe a thumbs up was not enough to express his shock, so in front of the camera, he knelt down and hugged Xie Hu's hand. Thigh. Brother Xie. You are my only brother. Little brother, I will be your bitch from today on. Woohoo. Brother Xie, you really opened my eyes. I recognize you as the big brother. This scene was fun and funny, but it hit the hearts of all netizens. What Lan Huan did was exactly what netizens wanted to do. Who doesn't want to hug a super rich boss who can spend 100 million at a time? Xie Joe looked down at Lan Huan, who was holding his thigh, and felt very understanding. Okay, you can follow me if you want, or did you just remind me, isn't buying a car just like buying groceries? If you like it, you can get it. You can pick the one you like later on the 6 million Rolls-Royce. Yes, I gave it to you. As soon as the sentence came out, the live broadcast barrages went crazy. Not to mention whether it's acting or not, I'm really jealous of Lan Huan. Lan Huan was stunned as he held Xie Tinghu's thigh. He felt that he couldn't understand Chinese at all. What was Brother Xie talking about? Brother Xie said he wanted to give himself a 6 million Rolls-Royce. When his mind came to his senses, Lan Huan's body was already faster than his mind. He hugged Xie Tinghu's legs tightly again, wishing he could stick to them with saliva. Thank you, brother. I declare that you will be my only brother from now on. If that doesn't work, you can be my dad. I'll call you Godfather. Otherwise, I won't feel at ease with this car. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Zhanghu Buletin Jian. Chapter 6. Don't say that Lan Huan's behavior is embarrassing. If a stranger came up and gave you a super sports car worth 6 million, you would probably want to hug him and call him Godfather. Don't ask. If I ask, I suddenly want to have a godfather. Where is my rich godfather? Zhang Xiao felt as if he had seen the scene countless times when he saw it. If it weren't for his identity, he would also want to hug Mr. Xie's thigh. Mr. Xie is really rich and generous, which makes people yearn for him. There were also 2 Lan Huan staff members who were stimulated at the scene. One was for Lan Huan's live broadcast, and the other was for Lan Huan's assistant. Seeing Lan Huan hugging Mr. Xie's thigh at his feet, to be honest, if Mr. Xie gave them a car, let alone a super sports car worth 6 million, even a car worth 60,000 yuan, they would also be willing to hug Mr. Xie's thigh. Make money. Don't shiver. As the mobile phone live broadcast room shook, everyone saw that the local tycoon Lan Xiao, who was rich enough in the eyes of fans, was hugging the thigh of a richer boss, being a happy son, and getting a super sports car gift worth 6 million from his godfather in a minute. Although I don't know if this is acting, the actor is quite handsome, and the excitement on Lan Xiao's face also looks quite real. For a while, the barrage was once again filled with strange words. Let go of that thigh and let me come. Lan Xiao, this is my godfather, let go. Which godfather can give me a luxury sports car? Even if it's acting, Lan Xiao's acting skills are amazing. All kinds of barrages were swiped like crazy, while Xie Tingzhou lowered his head and looked at Lan Huan, who was hugging his legs and excitedly calling him dad. He felt that he was really old enough to be Lan Huan's father. After all, he was already a 45-year-old old man, and it was nothing to be called dad by a young man in his 20s. If you like, you can call me that. There was no disgust on his young and handsome face, but a bit more kindness, which made people feel a bit strange. I like this name. From today on, Godfather, you are my only father. Ah! You are my only godfather. Even if it is my father, I will put you before him. Lan Huan immediately expressed his loyalty. This was extremely funny. Xie Tingzhou was very satisfied with this tool man, who had his own fans and could also just right stimulate the black card task. Okay, get up, what does it look like to kneel on the ground? After saying this, Lan Huan immediately rolled and crawled to his feet. At this time, Manager Meng and the housekeeper Xiaolin came back. Manager Meng's face was red and his neck was thick. He felt that he was shaking with the documents in his hand. 100 million. In less than 10 minutes a day, 4 cars were sold. 100 million. Manager Meng had never received such a big order so quickly. He was dizzy at the thought of the commission. Especially when he saw that the housekeeper Xiaolin didn't even need a password to swipe the card, he felt that the world of the rich was really unfathomable. Mr. Xie, your card and the receipt. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for completing the task of showing off wealth, becoming the rich godfather in the hearts of many people. The cash back of 50 million for this task has been deposited into the host's card. Please work hard to become the godfather of more people. The sound of the black card system made Sieting Joe more certain that his behavior was correct. The receipt was given by the mall. Sieting Joe took it, glanced at it casually, and then nodded. Just on the way, Manager Meng had learned some information from the housekeeper Xiaolin and knew that Sieting Joe lived in the Zirui Hotel. Now the Zirui Hotel was contracted by Sieting Joe alone. This news made Manager Meng numb. Mr. Xie, I have asked someone to prepare the contract. You can just come with me to the rest area to sign it. Our car dealership will handle the formalities for you later. But do you plan to put all the cars in the garage of the Hilly Hotel? Pagani and Ferrari both need careful maintenance. Why not leave them in our store for the time being? We will take care of them first and then send them directly to your home, even if they are from other provinces. There has never been a rich man named Xie in Daxi City, so Manager Meng believes that Mr. Xie must be from another place. It is heartbreaking to think that such a top supercar is parked casually in the hotel garage. Okay, then these two cars will be placed in your store first. I will drive the off-road car away when I go out. As for the Rolls-Royce, you can ask Lan Huan to pick one he likes. Let Lan Huan sign the contract directly later and I will give him one. Sieting Joe still loves off-road the most. The other two supercars are quite beautiful. It is just right to give one to his son and one to his daughter when he goes home. However, there are still too few. I will buy more when I have the chance in the future. Whatever his son and daughter like is fine. Hearing this, Lan Huan's eyes shone even brighter, and he received envious and jealous looks from the people around him. Manager Meng didn't know that Lan Huan recognized his father on the spot, but he just thought that young Master Lan and Mr. Xie really had a good relationship. He gave a Rolls-Royce worth 6 million yuan as a gift, and they really were good friends. Soon everyone arrived at the rest area. The contract was read by the butler Xiaolin. As a butler of the presidential suite, Xiaolin was proficient in 6 languages and was very familiar with various shopping contracts, and could handle these matters for the guests. After Xiaolin finished reading the contract, Sieting Joe just signed it. Lan Huan chose a blue Rolls-Royce, which was the same as his name, with a starry sky roof inside. He was almost happy to jump up, and his hands were shaking when he came to sign the contract. Manager Meng also knew about Lan Huan. He was jealous and envious when he saw young Master Lan signing the contract. Who among the people present didn't envy Lan Huan now? The contract was signed quickly, which was considered a successful purchase contract. Sieting Joe didn't plan to leave and wanted to walk around for a while. Lan Huan immediately said that he wanted to accompany his godfather shopping. When Manager Meng personally sent Sieting Joe and his party to the door, they happened to meet the people from the Yo-Yo mobile phone store who were carrying a lot of mobile phones specially packed in exquisite high-end boxes arranged by the staff of the Hillray Hotel. Sieting Joe saw that it was someone from the hotel and waved to the other party. A tall young man in a black suit and white gloves came over immediately. He was holding a lot of mobile phone bags in his hands. Sieting Joe took out 4 sets of Yo-Yo mobile phones from his arms, and then turned around and handed them to Lan Huan. This is the Yo-Yo mobile phone endorsed by my favorite star Xie Zeng. It has 80 million pixels. I think it is very suitable for you to shoot live broadcasts. Lan Huan, I'll give you one, and the other 3 will be given to your staff. As soon as they met, 4 more mobile phones were given away directly. Lan Huan reacted quickly, and immediately took the 4 bags in his hands, and said seriously, "Godfather, you like Xie Zeng? I declare that I am a die-hard fan of Xie Zeng from today. From today on, I will use this yo-yo phone for any shooting, and my staff will also switch to yo-yo phones. Godfather, don't worry, I will promote the Xie Zeng in my live broadcast room every day in the future. He is my favorite star in the entertainment industry. Such a witty person, it is really rare for people to dislike him. Zheng Xiao on the side just felt that he was worthy of being a webcaster, and his brain turned quickly. Then Zheng Xiao immediately thought of the transparent fan, and quickly handed the square transparent fan to Xie Tingzhou, and sure enough, he saw Mr. Xie's fleeting smile. After getting the transparent fan, Xie Tingzhou also showed it in front of Lan Huan. Well, this is Xie's ink, isn't he cute? He used Q to praise a boy, which made Lan Huan's mouth twitch slightly, thinking that this little star looks like a girl, and has dimples. However, for the sake of his godfather, he decided to support this little star more in the future. Of course. The star that godfather likes is so handsome. The two dimples are so cute when he smiles. It's likable to look at them. When he praises people, he can praise them to the sky. Xie Tingzhou was in a good mood after hearing that. After the hotel staff left, Lan Huan knew that Xie Tingzhou bought 200 mobile phones directly for the little star's endorsement. Suddenly, he just thought, what is the star chasing of those sisters in the circle? People directly bought 200 mobile phones. What else can they be called if not true fans? There were fans of Xie's ink in the live broadcast room. They were also very shocked when they saw this scene. They thought that it turned out that rich big guys also chased traffic male stars. You can't judge a person by appearance. Later, along the way, with the blessing of Lan Huan, the unlimited black card system seemed to have a bug. As long as Lan Huan looked at the store more, the task would be refreshed immediately. Ding, how can a wealthy man with status not have matching clothes? Clothes make the man, and saddles make the horse. Please buy 10 million worth of clothes for yourself within 5 hours. Countdown 4 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Xie Tingzhou quickly swept through the clothing area, and 10 million was used to match everything from head to toe. Many of them were sent to the hotel later. However, this time Xie Tingzhou did not buy anything for Lan Huan. He did not have the habit of buying clothes for men. Lan Huan was so excited when he saw his godfather buying 10 million clothes and accessories in an hour, because this was a real thigh. He could spend 10 million on clothes. What else is not a thigh? And what shocked Lan Huan was not just that. Clothes were just the basics. 10 million could be used to sweep the men's clothing area. When he arrived at the watch area of the Nebula building, Lan Huan knew what luxury was. Lan Huan's watch was just an ordinary Rolex Green Water Ghost. More than 200,000 was already very luxurious. As a third-tier city, the counter in the watch section of Xingyun building is chauffeured. In addition to watches, this brand also makes good jewelry. Lan Huan saw his godfather walk in, randomly ordered a few and said no, and then took all the rest. After swiping the card for 50 million, the whole store became busy, which made Lan Huan's eyes dazed. He stared at all this, and was thrown a men's chauffeured watch worth more than 300,000. He felt that he was a frog in the well before and had never seen a big scene. Xie Tingzhou took advantage of Lan Huan, a tool man, and refreshed several limited-time tasks. When he was tired and planned to go back to the hotel to rest, he didn't want to drive himself. Under the arrangement of housekeeper Xiaolin, he took the hotel car back to the hotel. Although Lan Huan turned off the live broadcast, he didn't know why he went back with him in a daze. His live broadcast room was a blast, and his popularity exceeded 50 million. However, some people found that they could not record the screen for some reason. So after Lan Huan closed the live broadcast room, all kinds of news were spreading wildly on the internet, but no one could produce photos, and the people who took screenshots before also failed inexplicably. After returning to the hotel, Xie Tingzhou and Lan Huan first enjoyed the hot springs and massages, and then started to eat in the restaurant that was specially designed for Xie Tingzhou. Lan Huan was shocked from beginning to end and could only call him godfather. At this moment, there was new information on the internet. The official flagship store of Yo-Yo in Xingyun building released the latest Weibo search for people, and even bought a hot search. Yo-Yo mobile phone V Hashtag spending a lot of money to find people. Hashtag a lovely female fan left a at Siazing transparent fan in our Yo-Yo mobile phone store in Daxi City, and it was taken away by a fan who bought 200 Yo-Yo 13s from us. This fan who spent millions for his idol Siazing hopes to find this lovely female fan and return to our store, and she will get a Yo-Yo 13 from this rich fan. Photo. Many fans flocked to the store, and saw the lovely transparent fan in the photo, thinking which lucky little sister it was, and which rich fan spent millions to buy 200 Yo-Yo 13s. Woo woo woo. Star chasers are really rich and inhumane. Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Jonghu Buletin. Chapter 7. Hashtag heavy money to look for Siazing fans. Hashtag was on the hot search, and the name Siazing naturally attracted more fans and passers-by to watch. After all, the name Siazing has indeed gained a certain reputation in the entertainment industry in the past 2 years. Influence. Siazing is only 20 years old this year. 2 years ago, at the age of 18, when this boy was at his most immature, he participated in the most popular boy group talent show variety show Top Boy Group 101 in the entertainment industry at that time. This show was about selection. 101 little brothers were selected to make 5 debuts, and these little brothers were asked to sing and dance to compete with each other in terms of appearance and strength, allowing fans to participate in a crazy betting show. Compared to other members who were backed by big companies, Siazing was just an outsider at the time, but it was just such an outsider that he successfully counterattacked in this capital-rich show and became a dark horse at the time. He directly climbed to the number 1 spot on his own and made his debut. Now that Siazing has been out for 2 years, his team contract is about to expire. At this time, he separated from the boy group MC and took over the mobile phone endorsement of Yo-Yo alone, which is enough to prove his traffic and fan purchasing power. Chen Lu is a fan of Siazing. She has been Siazing's most loyal fan since he debuted in the industry 2 years ago. She is crazy about Siazing, and hits the wall like crazy for this cute little brother. She was 4 years older than Siazing. When she first started working, she was under great pressure. She watched talent shows and variety shows, and she immediately fell in love with Siazing, a sweet little sweet bean with an extremely cute smile. Especially when he turned the devil around on the stage, Chen Lu fell in love with her. From the time she started chasing celebrities 2 years ago to now, Chen Lu's job has become stable. So after Siazing endorsed Yo-Yo mobile phones, she went directly to their local Yo-Yo store. It only cost 4,000 yuan. It's not like she doesn't have the ability. No problem taking it off. During the day, she finally took a vacation and hurriedly bought a mobile phone. When she got home, she carefully collected Siazing's posters into a roll. After sleeping for an afternoon, Chen Lu woke up and found that the sky had changed. The messages from Diddy, a friend who was chasing stars together, were all crazy. Chen Lu was stunned when she opened her phone. Lulu, your home is from Daxi City, right? The fan on Weibo belongs to you, right? I've seen you buy it before. Lulu, what are you doing? Tell me if the lucky guy on Weibo is you. Dear baby. Is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Seeing the latest news, Chen Lu was a little confused, but she still looked up and saw the Weibo message sent by her star-chasing friend. She thought something had happened to her idol, so she quickly opened Weibo, only to see the hashtag spend a lot of money to find Siazing's fan hashtag on Weibo. Daxi City Xingyuan Building, Square Fan. OMG. Isn't this my own fan? When she saw the square transparent fan on Weibo with her idol's cute smile on both sides, Chen Lu immediately realized that this was her own transparent fan. Looking at the official Weibo, he said that he would give away a mobile phone in the past. Chen Lu immediately rolled over on the bed and became a fool. Oh my god. Chasing stars can also bring pie in the sky. Chen Lu was so dizzy by this pie falling from the sky that she was happy for a while before she started to reply to her star-chasing friends. At the same time, in a large, slightly luxurious apartment, a handsome man in a purple shirt pushed open the door and saw several teenagers lying on the sofa in the living room of the large apartment. After practicing dance all day, the teenagers lying there resting like mud were none other than the 5 members of the boy band MC at this time. They really didn't want to move. Hurry up and eat. I'm in a good mood today. I won't lose weight for you. Look what I brought you. Fried chicken and milk tea. The handsome man is called Liao Yun, and he is the manager of the MC boy group. He manages these 5 teenagers who have just grown up. Milk tea, the person who jumped up when he heard the milk tea was Li Nangzi, the top foodie in the team and the person in charge of rap in the group. He looks very cool, but his eyes look as pure as a deer's. He is very cool when he is on stage with full aura. I want to eat fried chicken too. I'm almost exhausted from practicing dancing. Another one stood up weakly. This one was the vocalist and lead singer of the group. His handsome appearance gave people a gentle and watery feeling. His name was Guyun's Hung. Guyun's Hung is not very good at dancing, so he is the most tired from practicing. Yunlin, do you want some fried chicken? Ji Yanli, who was wearing black short-sleeved shirts, had already brought a box of fried chicken and asked Shen Yunlin, who was standing aside. Ji Yanli is the captain of MC and also the face. He is considered to be the most outstanding temperament in the group. He smells like a noble man. The handsome guy asked by Ji Yanli is called Shen Yunlin. He is the main dancer in the group. He has the most explosive dancing ability and the most unruly personality. Don't eat, Shen Yunlin refused, his voice cold and ruthless, but it sounded dull. While they were talking, several people began to eat, but no one asked Xiezing, who was sitting on a chair nearby and reading the script, as if Xiezing was isolated. In fact, from the beginning of the competition to the past 2 years, the MC men's team has been very popular. Each member of the team has many fans, and everyone has a good relationship with each other. It will not lead to such a mess. There are only 5 members in the MC men's team. They are almost the same age, they all take care of each other, they have been living and eating together for 2 years, they are no different from brothers. But the biggest reason why they have been unhappy recently is because the MC boy group is a limited boy group, that is, a boy group limited to 2 years. They are practicing so hard now for the disbandment concert in a month. In fact, everyone started discussing this matter a month ago, thinking that the MC boy group should not be disbanded. Shen Yunlin, the richest boy in the group, even said that he could pay liquidated damages to each brother company, and then wait for everyone to pay. Without the contract, we started anew together under the name MC Men's Group, making MC Men's Group the top men's group in the country instead of a limited men's group. Li Nangzi, Ji Yanli, and Guyun's Hung have all agreed to terminate their contracts with their original companies and then jump to the company that Shen Yunlin's mother planned to open specifically for their MC boy group. But Xiezing, the most important group favorite of the MC boy group, was unwilling. It is said that a top entertainment company in the industry offered Xiezing a high price to poach him, and the signing bonus reached 100 million. This is something Shen Yunlin's mother could not afford, and the total liquidated damages of several other people were less than 100 million. Xiezing was an amateur before and had no company. He waited for his talent show and variety show debut before signing a contract with Ascendas Entertainment, which now leads the MC boy group. However, it was a 2-year short-term contract that was about to expire, and no liquidated damages were even required. Previously, Shen Yunlin personally discussed with Xiezing about continuing to maintain the MC boy group and offered a signing bonus of 10 million. Even so, Xiezing did not agree. Because of this, the atmosphere in the entire MC boy group has been wrong recently. No one wants to separate, so naturally they will treat Xiezing coldly, who is unwilling to bow his head. Xiezing also knew that his choice was not good for his brothers, not to mention that Shen Yunlin had promised to give him a signing bonus of 10 million, and the brothers also agreed to join Shen Yunlin's company, but he was holding back, so even though he was being treated coldly these days, Xiezing did not complain, because he knew it was his fault. I just sat there quietly and read the script. This script was handed over by a well-known director in the industry. He wanted Xiezing to guest star in a youth movie when the male protagonist Bai Yueguang was a boy. So Xiezing was reading the script very seriously. Even though I was exhausted from practicing dancing, I was still watching carefully. He is different from everyone else. He has no way out. For the sake of his mother and sister, he absolutely cannot retreat. Liao Yun looked at Xiezing, who was left hanging there, and sighed in his heart. Tengfei Entertainment was not very good at it. They were able to keep this MC Limited boy group in their company for work handover because their company was small. In fact, the company that the MC boy group has been working with for 2 years only takes a small commission, and the money earned is taken by other big companies. It's just that their company is busy all the time. Only Xiezing signed a short-term 2-year contract with them, working for the company. I have made a lot of money in 2 years. The previous Yo-Yo mobile phone endorsement contract alone earned the company more than 10 million. It can be said to be a real cash cow, so the company is actually very optimistic. Such a big cash cow cannot be retained by a small company like them. Xiezing's contract is about to expire in 1 month, and the company has not yet thought of a way to keep Xiezing. Other big companies in the industry have long been ready to make a move. Several industry agents have contacted Xiezing and even offered a signing bonus of 100 million, which is enough to show Xiezing's popularity. Thinking of this, Liao Yun walked over with milk tea and fried chicken. These high-calorie foods are usually never allowed to be eaten by male celebrities for fear of getting acne and greasy skin. But recently, everyone has gone crazy during dance practice. Everyone has lost a lot of weight. Eating some of these junk foods will help you feel better. Zinc, let's eat fried chicken and your favorite cloud milk tea. After placing Xiezing's favorite milk tea on the table, Xiezing raised his head and looked at his manager. Several other people were also eating, but no one paid attention to Xiezing. Thank you, Brother Liao. Xiezing nodded obediently, inserted the straw into the milk tea, and took a sip. This was the second time he drank milk tea in 2 years. The company is very strict and eats and drinks nutritious meals. In order to maintain the best, Xiezing has given up junk food for a long time. The strong aroma of tea and milk filled his mouth, making Xiezing immediately narrow his eyes, full of happiness, the corners of his mouth slightly raised, and the 2 small dimples seemed so cute. Liao Yun also likes such a well-behaved appearance, knowing that this child is the most obedient, but I don't know why this time. If the MC boy group always exists, everyone can take advantage of each other, and everyone in the entertainment industry can help each other and go further. But this child insisted on walking all the way to the dark side, leaving Liao Yun helpless. Didn't you read Weibo? You were on the hot search. Yo-Yo 13 sales have been very good since you endorsed it. There is another hot search today about your fans buying a mobile phone worth 1 million yuan in one go in the north, which is enough for 2. There are hundreds of them. Now the Yo-Yo mobile phone Weibo is full of orders from your fans in the past. The operation and promotion are crazy with joy. Several brands just called me to find you to endorse, but I didn't answer your call. I will explain it to you in detail tomorrow, and you can think about it yourself. Liao Yun is not an agent who is greedy for money, and Tengfei Entertainment does not insist on eating steamed buns with human blood. At this moment, he is particularly concerned about Xiezing. Well, thank you, Brother Liao. I'll check Weibo. While sipping milk tea, he took out his phone and saw the latest hot search on Weibo. When he clicked on it, it was all about his fans' feedback on the Yo-Yo phone. Xiaozing looked at several of them and felt relieved when he saw that his fans were very happy using this phone. He was using the Yo-Yo 13. He accepted the endorsement because he thought this phone was really convenient to use and the price was right. Moreover, this phone was good looking and he believed that his fans would like it. You will post a Weibo later. Don't say anything. Just post the selfie you took with the Yo-Yo phone. Be happy. Your fans will know what it means when you post it. It can also be regarded as a photo benefit for fans. This is a method that celebrities often use. Some private beautiful photos are posted on Weibo so that fans can use them as screensavers. They use the Yo-Yo 13 phone to post it to prove that he has seen this Weibo and thank everyone for their support. Celebrities are like this. They can't say things too clearly. If they are too clear, they will flatter their fans. Just let the fans understand it themselves. Okay, Xiaozing nodded, then searched in his phone, quickly found a selfie of himself, and then posted the latest Weibo. MC Boys Group, Xiaozing V, photo. As soon as this Weibo was posted, many fans commented and forwarded it. The other members of the MC Boys Group who were eating on the side also saw it, but everyone was silent. In the photo, Xiaozing was wearing a simple pink shirt, and his cold white skin was set off to be even whiter and tenderer. When he took a selfie towards the camera, he tilted his face up, like a proud little peacock. Although he didn't have two dimples, he was still very cute. This wave of publicity was very good, and both the brand and the company were very satisfied. Xiaozing Zhou, who was far away in Daxi City, was lying leisurely on a rocking chair, at the highest point of the hilly hotel, looking at the bright lights outside the window through the floor-to-ceiling window. The special reminder of the mobile phone in his hand rang, and Xiaozing Zhou took a look, and then liked Xiaozing's photo. Lan Huan was sitting on a chair nearby, but not a rocking chair like Xiaozing's whose. Butler Xiaolin and Zhang Xiao had already listed all the mobile phones, clothes, watches, etc. that Xiaozing Zhou had purchased today. After these things were delivered, the staff of the Hillray Hotel was busy all afternoon to sort them out. At this time, a list was made for Xiaozing Zhou to choose. Hearing the special attention to the mobile phone, Lan Huan also opened Weibo. He did not use a big account to follow Xiaozing for the time being. The live broadcast at noon during the day was so popular, but at night there was no sound, and no one discussed it, which made Lan Huan feel that Xiaozing Zhou in front of him was unfathomable. Zhang Xiao sorted out all the lists and brought them to Xiaozing Zhou. Mr. Xia, the mobile phones, clothes and other items you bought have been placed. This is the management list. Take a look. Xiaozing Zhou took the thick list that looked like a promotional book, and when he saw the top 200 mobile phones, he thought of something. Give these mobile phones away. Just give them to Xiaozing's fans by lottery. Set a little threshold. Can you handle it? Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Zhanghu Buletin Jian. Chapter 8. Although Xiaozing Zhou has unlimited money, there are requirements for who to give gifts to. Lan Huan is Xiaozing Zhou's money-making tool. He can afford a sports car worth 6 million. However, if this mobile phone is given to strangers, it is better to give it to fans who like his son. When Zhang Xiao heard that this big brother Xia started to give gifts again, he immediately thought of his sister who was chasing stars, and naturally nodded. Mr. Xia, of course I can arrange it. Now fans who chase stars are chasing stars on Weibo. We can hold a lottery in Xiaozing's Celebrity Super Topic on Weibo. The threshold can be set to 10th level fans or 15th level fans or above. These fans can reach this level in the Celebrity Super Topic. They also need to sign in and do tasks for a long time. They must be loyal fans of Xiaozing. But the sister has signed in from the beginning to now, and she still has to do voting tasks. It took 2 years to reach level 16. This star chasing is not something that everyone can do. Okay, I'll arrange it for you. Use my account to post a lucky draw on Xiazing's Weibo. Post it now, and the prize will be drawn at 12 noon tomorrow. Xieting Zhou directly threw his phone to Zhang Xiao and asked Zhang Xiao to deal with it. Then he looked down at the list in his hand and found that this list was very well done. All the clothing categories were matched and photographed. As long as Xieting Zhou chose, he could take it out and wear it. Even the watches he bought were fully matched. It seemed to be carefully arranged, which made Xieting Zhou feel that the staff of the Hillray Hotel really provided good service. The hotel was contracted for 5 million yuan, and there were nearly 300 people in the hotel who all served Xieting Zhou alone. In addition to Xiaolin, the butler of the presidential suite, the other two butlers were proficient in clothing matching and photography. This clothing file was the result of these people's work in an afternoon. Zhang Xiao got Xieting Zhou's phone, his heart was still beating non-stop, and there was a perfect smile on his face. "Don't worry, Mr. Xie, I'll arrange it right away." She went to the side to arrange the Weibo lottery, opened Xieting Zhou's Weibo, and found that Mr. Xie's Weibo was actually called Xiazing's father. This, thinking that Lan Huan, a rich second-generation up-host, had to hug Mr. Xie's thighs and call him Godfather, it didn't seem surprising that Mr. Xie's Weibo name was called this. Do all rich people have this habit? Like to be someone's godfather or father? Is it too late for her to kneel down and call him father now? While Zhang Xiao lamented that she had lost the opportunity to hug thighs, she began to contact people on Weibo first, and then contacted the managers of Xiazing's Celebrity Super Topic. Such managers are online all day and specialize in managing this. Some are real fans, and there are also staff arranged by the celebrity company who are responsible for celebrity fan public opinion. Just when Zhang Xiao was operating the lottery, Lan Huan immediately spoke. "Godfather, I will follow Xiazing on my Weibo account later. I will also follow your Weibo. Since I plan to be a fan of Xiazing in the future, I will also show my appreciation by posting a Weibo lottery red envelope of 500,000 yuan. Do you think it's okay?" Lan Huan had a smile on his face. Of course, this did not mean that he really liked Xiazing, but to cling to Xieting Zhou's thigh. Whatever his godfather likes, his godson must also like it. Godfather spent 1 million yuan on a mobile phone, so it's not too much for him to draw a 500,000 yuan red envelope. Okay, just in time for some fun together. Xieting Zhou also gave Lan Huan a look, thinking that this child is very sensible, and he doesn't mind playing with him. "Yes, Godfather. And I also have 10 million fans. When the time comes, I will tag your small account, and more people will follow it, and I can get more fans for Xiazing. Although I don't understand why my godfather likes little stars, it's okay. What my godfather likes, he likes." Lan Huan quickly got up and went to find Zhang Xiao. He logged into his Weibo account, Zikan Lan Xiao, and followed Xiazing first. Then he found Zhang Xiao and saw Xieting Zhou's Weibo account. After seeing the Weibo post Xiazing's father, he immediately laughed and thought that he was right to call him Godfather. Big brother Xia likes to be someone's father. Zhang Xiao had already contacted the administrator of Xiazing's Celebrity Super Topic and the Weibo Lucky Draw programmer, and soon posted the latest Weibo. Xiazing's father, hashtag Xiazing Super Topic, hashtag Lucky Draw to win Yo-Yo 13, hashtag retweet and comment under this Weibo at Xiazing Weibo Super Topic level 15 will draw 200 lucky fans, each of whom will receive a Yo-Yo 13 endorsed by Xiazing. The prize will be drawn at 12 noon tomorrow. At Weibo Lucky Draw assistant at Xiazing Super Topic administrator. The fans in Xiazing Super Topic were all excited. After all, Xiazing has been in the industry for 2 years and has many die-hard fans. There are at least 1 or 2,000 fans above level 15. The chance of 1 or 2,000 people drawing 200 mobile phones is still very high. Not only that, Lan Huan's fans on the internet were also confused. During the day, they saw Lan Huan kneeling and hugging his thighs. It was said that he was given a Rolls-Royce worth 6 million. Although many people said it was a script at the time, there was no news after Lan Huan went off the air. And everyone who watched the live broadcast knew what happened. There was no screen recording evidence at all. It was just like a dream. As a result, when the fans were all wondering if the script during the day was a dream, Lan Huan went online and followed Xiezing directly on Weibo. Following the Weibo, isn't this a male star? When did Lan Xiao chase stars? Just when the fans were confused, Lan Huan forwarded the lucky draw Weibo. Zikan Lan Xiao v. Godfather likes at Xiezing. I declare that I will also become a fan of Xiezing. From today I will draw 500,000 yuan for Xiezing's fans later. At Xiezing's father, this is my godfather. My fans should all be familiar with him. When seeing this Weibo and the word Godfather, the fans who watched the live broadcast at noon felt their memories come back. What happened in the afternoon was true. A rich boss spent 100 million to buy a luxury car. He also gave Lan Xiao a Rolls-Royce worth 6 million. Just when they were confused, Lan Huan posted a Weibo again, but this Weibo directly made Lan Huan's fans speechless. Zikan Lan Xiao v. #Xiezing super topic number 500,000 cash draw. As long as the commenters of this Weibo forwarding follow at Xiezing and Xiezing super topic at the same time, they can participate in the draw. The draw will be held at 12 noon tomorrow. 1,000 lucky fans, 500 yuan per person at Weibo lucky draw. Assistant at Xiezing super topic administrator. Oh my god. Lan Huan's fans are speechless. Lan Huan has been doing live broadcasts for 3 or 4 years, and his Weibo fans have exceeded 10 million, and his Douyin fans have exceeded 30 million. He has never been to his own super topic, let alone a lucky draw, and now he comes up to give out 500,000 yuan. You tell me to follow other people's super topics? Lan Xiao, are you an undercover sent by the enemy? However, even though they complained in their hearts, the fans still forwarded the comments honestly and followed Xiezing and Xiezing's super topic at the same time. After all, who can resist 500 yuan falling from the sky? No one doesn't want to pick up 500 yuan for free. And the requirements for this lucky draw are at most forwarding and following others, so in 1 minute, the forwarding exceeded 10,000, and the comments also exceeded 10,000. These days, rich second generations like Lan Huan who play Weibo still have a lot of fans below. What's more, Lan Huan posted this Weibo directly in Xiezing's super topic, and millions of fans in the super topic began to forward it crazily. 10 minutes later, Lan Huan and Xiezing were both on the hot search. At 9 o'clock in the evening, it was the time when internet night owls appeared. #Zikan Lan Xiao followed Xiezing and #Xiezing's father were both on the hot search. What's more, there was number 500,000 cash lottery #, which made many passers-by quickly follow Xiezing. No other reason, who doesn't think he is a lucky fish? Maybe 500 yuan will be mine. This night was destined to be a carnival for Xiezing's fans. After all, there were still many passers-by who followed Xiezing's celebrity super topic, and the hot search was about to be occupied by Xiezing. As an agent, Liao Yun did not expect Xiezing's fans to be so awesome. After browsing the super topic, he went to Xiezing's room. After everyone had dinner, they went to do their own things. Xiezing had just come out of the shower and sat on the bed to continue reading the script. Zing, I was just about to leave, but I saw a new hot search. When I was drinking milk tea, I told you that a fan spent 1 million to buy 200 mobile phones endorsed by you. I didn't expect that he would take them out and participate in the lottery in your Weibo super topic. He is still a rich fan. Such a big fan must be paid special attention to. It would be best to get to know him. Xiezing nodded, picked up his mobile phone, and then entered his super topic with a small account. He saw the 2 top lotteries. One of them was named Zikan Lan Xiao, but he didn't know him. The other mobile phone lottery was for Xiezing's father. The 6 words made Xiezing frown immediately. He hated the word father. Since he was sensible, the existence of a father has always been missing. He only has a mother and a sister. There is also the Zikan Lanshao, who is a famous second-generation rich internet celebrity on Douyin. He has 30 million fans on Douyin and more than 10 million fans on Weibo. You have already posted a selfie online today, so don't go online. Wait until tomorrow to follow this Zikan Lanshao online. Maybe we can become friends in the future. More friends, more paths. Liao Yun follows the entertainment industry and naturally knows this Zikan Lanshao. He is a second-generation rich internet celebrity and is very rich. There are many benefits to interacting with these people. Yes, Yezing turned off his phone and nodded coldly. This look made Liao Yun not know what to say. He could only say dryly to take more rest, and then left Xiezing's room. Xiezing, who always behaved innocently and brilliantly in front of the camera and didn't know the world, was silent at this time, but it was so quiet that it made people feel distressed. Ding dong sounded, it was a WeChat reminder. Xiezing picked it up and took a look. It was a WeChat message sent by his sister. Sister, Zing, I saw that you were on the hot search. Your fans are so cute, so you have to perform well on the stage. Sister will always support you. The gentle concern made Xiezing's eyes red, and then he tried to blink, not wanting to let the tears fall, and replied with a trembling hand, simple and indifferent. Soon, he will be able to save his sister soon. All this pain and suffering is unknown to others. After Zhang Xiao handled the lottery, Xieting Zhou thought of something. He couldn't go back so abruptly. Before going back, he had to understand the situation of his wife and children. So Xieting Zhou looked at Lan Huan beside him. Lan Huan, do you know a private detective? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Zhanghu Buletin Jian. Chapter 9. Private Detective? That's what one of my brothers does. If you need me, Godfather, I'll call you right now and ask him to fly over overnight to help you. Lan Huan really knows a lot of people. As the only son in the family, while other parents are just trying to pursue elite education, the education pursued by the Lan family is to put children first, and children can do whatever they want, from childhood to adulthood. Dalan Huan has never been a chicken boy, so naturally he has a large group of friends around him, so he is lucky to have not gone astray. He had money and leisure, and he went to Xiangjiang City to go to college. He knew young dandies who were all from rich families. He spent his money like water and had many friends from all walks of life. I have a brother from Xiangjiang. He has a private detective agency, which specializes in solving some special matters for people. He has information on investigators, arrests, and occasionally he also shoots scandals about small stars. Yes, that has never failed, Godfather, no matter who you want to investigate or find, you are right to find him. Lan Huan gave a thumbs up and praised his brother to the highest level. After all, it is not safe to hold the thigh alone. It is better to have the brothers come over to hold the thigh together. He can also serve his godfather well. Oh, that's okay. Just contact me and I'll meet with you tomorrow to explain some things. It has been almost 20 years since the original person abandoned his wife and children. The children have grown up to be big stars. Xieting Zhou feels that he still needs to know more about his family before going back. Otherwise, it would not be appropriate to appear in front of his wife and children rashly. Don't worry, Godfather. I'll contact the person right away. Lan Huan patted his chest, truly seeing Xieting Zhou's financial strength, and he was truly convinced by the Godfather in front of him who looked about the same age as him. Xieting Zhou nodded, said nothing more, and then took his butler Xiaolin to the presidential suite to rest. In the presidential suite, Xiaolin had already arranged a hot spring bathtub. During the day, several sets of clothes and accessories purchased by Xie were also matched. It was cleaned and put in specially for Xie to replace. "Mr. Xie, your consumption list for today has come out." "Do I need to show it to you?" butler Xiaolin asked carefully. The restaurant consumption from morning to evening today was more than 400,000. In the evening, Xie and Lan Huan, the bottles of red wine that were opened during the meal cost more than 100,000 yuan each, and they were all paid by Xie. "No, just tell me when you don't have enough money." Xie waved his hand, and then the housekeeper Xiaolin went out with a wink. Xie went to soak in the hot springs for a while again. He felt that the service at the Zirui Hotel was really good. He would stay for a few more days and wait until the information about his family was found out before leaving. Picking up the mobile phone on the towel beside him, Xie turned on the screen and looked at Xiezing on the screensaver in the soft smoke of the hot spring. This was his flesh and blood son. His facial features were actually very similar to his, except that his eyes and dimples were like his mother's. "And Ayu, how has Ayu been doing these years?" With all the memories of the original owner, Xie can naturally appreciate the sincere feelings he had with Huang Xinyu. Human personality and cognition are composed of memories, and Xie himself is made up of thousands of memories. Together, thinking of Huang Xinyu at this moment, her fingers unconsciously pressed a series of numbers on the phone. This phone number belonged to no one else but Huang Xinyu. The two got married when Huang Xinyu graduated. On their wedding day, they went to apply for this couple's number together. Xie would naturally not forget it. The number he pressed in a daze was dialed directly. Xie didn't even react, but the answer screen was already displayed. "Hello," the voice on the other end of the phone was gentle and intellectual, just like before. Xie was stunned. He couldn't say a word for a while. He just looked at his phone blankly and was at a loss. "Who is it? What's the matter?" Huang Xinyu on the other end of the phone, even though she was the mother of two adult children, she still spoke in a slow and soft voice, just like back then. Huang Xinyu's delicate face instantly appeared in his mind, and Xie hung up the phone before he could react. Let the mist of the hot spring fill the screen of the mobile phone, and Xie on it gradually turns dark, but Xie is dumbfounded, a little stunned. Every time he goes to a world, the memory of this world will occupy the main body of Xie mind, and now, his mind was filled with Huang Xinyu's voice and appearance, and everything was so fresh in his memory. He suddenly wanted to go to Huang Xinyu immediately and see how his wife was doing now. To Huang Xinyu, this unexpected phone call was just a call from a stranger, but it made Xie suffer from insomnia the night after. In Zirui's living room, Lan Huan was also extremely excited. He called his brother Huofeng directly. The call was answered quickly. Huofeng was Lan Huan's dormitory roommate for 4 years at university, so the relationship was naturally very good. "Same as usual. Madman, is your private detective agency still open?" Huofeng was unhappy when he heard this and curled his lips. "Lan Huan, can't you just hope for me? Just hope that your brother's company will go bankrupt? My detective agency is doing well, so if you have anything to say, just say it." They are all brothers, and they are not polite when talking to each other. Lan Huan laughed when he heard this. "Why don't you wish you well? Didn't this bring you a lot of business? You didn't check WeChat today, did you? Look at the picture I sent you on WeChat." He sent Huofeng several pictures in a frivolous way, from all angles, which shocked Huofeng, who was on the phone and looking at pictures on WeChat at the same time. Lan Huan, have you made a lot of money? Did you buy yourself a Rolls-Royce? Do internet celebrities make so much money these days? Won't your parents chase you and beat you up if you buy such an expensive supercar? Shocked by the cool blue Rolls-Royce, Huo Feng also likes luxury cars, but cars that cost 5 or 6 million yuan are not something that can be bought just like that. Hee. This is not something I bought myself, but something my godfather gave me. Today I recognized a big guy as my godfather, and I immediately thought of you, brother. My godfather wants to find a private detective, so I immediately recommended you. Now my godfather and I are in Daxi City. You should fly here overnight, and I will take you to see my godfather tomorrow morning. In the future, there will be many benefits. Having seen the wealth of his godfather, Lan Huan naturally wanted to hug this big thick leg. I said you won't be cheated, right? Lan Huan, these days scammers will spend a lot of money, don't you rent this car from someone else. Huo Feng was still afraid that Lan Huan would be cheated. After all, their wealthy second generations have been cheated more or less. Who hasn't been cheated? There are so many people who have lost millions and learned their lesson. You are talking nonsense. This is the car I saw being sold in the Ford store in my hometown. I signed the contract myself, so it is mine, okay. And my godfather bought 3 cars today, Bugatti, Mercedes-Benz G, and Ferrari, and together with my Rolls-Royce, he spent 100 million. The credit cards were all swiped on the spot, black cards, you know. Lan Huan was so angry that he wanted to beat up his brother. He took such a good thing by himself, why didn't his brother understand? Hearing about the black card, Huo Feng thought that the story might be true. After all, other things can be cheated, but the black card cannot. In the circle of the rich, those who can get the black card have assets of at least hundreds of millions. If you can swipe 100 million at once, you must be a big shot. Okay, then I'll go there overnight. It will probably be 6 in the morning when I buy a plane ticket to your place. You can drive your Rolls-Royce to pick me up and let me have some fun. Who doesn't like luxury cars? Huo Feng still gives his brother face. Just pick me up. Hurry up. It's better to bring your work team here at once, otherwise I'll be anxious if you delay my godfather's business. Lan Huan kept talking, but the more he did so, the more Huo Feng was curious about the godfather Lan Huan mentioned. He has been in Hong Kong and doesn't pay attention to the internet, but he didn't know that his brother was on the hot search. After the call was hung up, Lan Huan hummed a song happily, but it was past 10 o'clock and he didn't feel sleepy at all, so he went to the underground garage to look at his beloved car, took a lot of photos and posted them on WeChat Moments, so that all his friends knew that Lan Huan had a blue Rolls-Royce. Lan Huan also received a call from his father. He was not polite and said directly that he had recognized a godfather and the 6 million car was given by the godfather. Ian's father naturally scolded him, but after scolding him, he still respected his son's wishes and let his son do it as he pleased, just don't offend anyone. Lan Huan has been sweet since he was a child, otherwise he wouldn't be able to mix well in the circle of so many rich people in Hong Kong, and no one would say he looked down on him when he became an internet celebrity, so he naturally agreed to it again and again. At 5 o'clock in the morning, Lan Huan excitedly drove his beloved car to pick up his friends. When Huo Feng came out of the airport, he saw Lan Huan's really cool blue supercar. The smooth lines and body just stopped there, which attracted many people's attention. See, I didn't lie to you, did I? This is what my godfather bought for me. If you serve my godfather well, he will definitely be generous to you. Patting his car, Lan Huan looked proud, so Huo Feng could only sigh that fools have good fortune. Okay, I know your godfather's ability. Let's go. I'll go with you to meet your godfather. In this way, Lan Huan drove his friend Huo Feng and told him about Xie who's spending hundreds of millions of dollars on shopping in the Nebula building yesterday, which made Huo Feng more curious about Mr. Xie. Although everyone is rich these days, if you can casually take out nearly 200 million in cash to spend, You are the top rich among the rich. After all, many rich people's money is invested, how can you take out so much cash? The two of them just went back at 7 o'clock. Xie Zhou had already gotten up and the restaurant had arranged breakfast. When he heard that his godfather was in the restaurant, Lan Huan immediately took his friend there. Godfather! Lan Huan ran over enthusiastically like a puppy, but Huo Feng was a little surprised after seeing this very young godfather. He thought that Mr. Xie was at least in his 40s, but how come he only looked in his early 20s? Mr. Xie and Lan Huan looked like they were of the same age, except that there was a little kindness in his eyes. Godfather, this is my friend, a private detective, called Huo Feng, you can just call him Xiao Feng. Enthusiastically introducing his friend to his godfather, Xie Zhou looked up at Huo Feng, who was wearing a suit and looked a bit reliable, and nodded. Sit down and eat first, we'll talk about things later. Xie Zhou looked unhappy, and Lan Huan didn't dare to say much. He pulled his brother to sit down, and then it was time for the chefs to show their skills. Although it was breakfast, each chef brought his own meal suitable for morning consumption and served them one by one. The service attitude was simply unparalleled. Platefuls of delicacies with all colors, flavors were served. Xie Zhou would take a few bites. If he liked it, he would look directly at Xiaolin. The housekeeper Xiaolin already understood what the reward is 10,000 yuan. It was easy to make money, so the chefs naturally showed off their unique skills. Yesterday, the entire kitchen received a tip of 10,000 yuan. Lan Huan and Huo Feng were also served to eat, and there were people standing next to them. The attentive service made the two rich second generations who were used to enjoying themselves a little uncomfortable. However, Xie Zhou finished his breakfast safely. After breakfast, the three of them went to the conference hall to talk business. Sit down, don't be so formal. Xie Zhou sat on the main seat. After speaking, Lan Huan dragged Huo Feng to sit on a chair on the side, sitting upright. Huo Feng, right? I heard from Lan Huan that you have a private detective agency. I asked you to come here this time because I want you to help investigate a person. Do you know the celebrity Xie Zeng? You can help me investigate the current situation of Xie Zeng's family. And all the circumstances of this family from his birth to now. Huo Feng was a little nervous at first, but when he heard that he was investigating the star's situation, he breathed a sigh of relief. Mr. Xie, this is no problem. I brought my team here this time. It is easy to investigate the family situation of celebrities. However, if the investigation starts from birth, it will probably take 7 days at the fastest. What do you think? After all, serving important people must be detailed, and Huo Feng is very rigorous. 7 days is fine, but remember to give me some information every day and I'll take a look at it first. Xie Zhou nodded. Last night he dreamed about what happened when he was young and fell in love with his wife. He couldn't wait to see his wife and daughter. His son looked similar to himself, and he didn't know if his daughter was similar to him. Lan Huan sat there obediently and said nothing, thinking that his godfather was quite fashionable, and he wanted to investigate the innocence of other people's net worth when chasing stars. Is it because there have been too many collapses in the entertainment industry in recent years, and he was afraid of chasing bad guys? Thinking like this, Lan Huan couldn't understand his godfather's thoughts, but he heard his godfather speak again. I hope your people will not disturb the normal life of Xie Zeng's family during the investigation. The investigation must be meticulous. Who has bullied their family and who has helped their family over the years must also be investigated clearly. Do you understand? Xie Zhou wanted to compensate his family in every aspect. He wanted to know the details of Huang Xinyu's family's life in the past 20 years. Of course, we will definitely investigate thoroughly. It's just that some people don't quite understand what the relationship between the rich Mr. Xie and the star Xie Zeng is. Lan Huan was dull and didn't realize that both of them were named Xie, but Huo Feng had been working as a private detective for many years, so he already had doubts in his heart. Xie Tingzhou still wanted Huo Feng to pay more attention to this matter, and added without hiding it. I won't hide it from you. I hope you can give me a quick and detailed result of the investigation on this matter, because I am Xie Xing's biological father, Xie Xing's father. Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Zhanghu Buletin Jian. Chapter 10. Ah! Don't be surprised, it was not Huo Feng who uttered this exclamation, but the shocked Lan Huan. After all, he had previously admitted that he was jealous of money and kept kneeling down because of the 6 million Rolls-Royce. Dad, I actually feel that the Mr. Xie in front of me is probably about the same age as him. He is just doing it for money. There is no shame in calling him Dad. But what is the Godfather saying now? The Godfather is Xie Xing's biological father? Yesterday, in order to get closer to his Godfather, Lan Huan had searched Xie Xing's personal information on Baidu. He knew that this boy with a sweet smile and 2 dimples debuted in the talent show at the age of 18. He was already famous in the industry 2 years after his debut. Yes, he has 30 million followers on Weibo, making him one of the top young celebrities. But Xie Xing is 20 years old this year. The Godfather in front of me looks like he is in his early 20s. How could such an eldest son be born? Or biological? At this moment, Lan Huan realized with hindsight that not only did his Godfather have the same surname as Xie Xing, but his appearance seemed to be similar to Xie Xing's, including his nose and mouth. Some explanation. But is this the maintenance ability of rich people? Doesn't the Godfather look too young? I am 45 years old this year. You see that I look young, but I am well maintained. So Lan Huan, in my eyes you are older than Xing, just like a child. Xie Tingzhou had stayed in the time travel division for more than 1,000 years, and he didn't think there was any problem in treating Lan Huan, who was so out of the box, as his son. Huo Feng was not surprised. In the car, Huo Feng searched for Xie Xing's photos, and naturally noticed that the young Mr. Xie looked somewhat similar to Xie Xing. He originally guessed they were brothers, but it turned out to be a father-son relationship. Mr. Xie, don't worry, I will help you investigate this matter carefully and I will not disturb Xie Xing's family. Those who work as detectives are all people who can keep secrets. Xie Tingzhou is not worried that Huo Feng will tell this matter. He just nodded. Okay, then I'll leave this matter to you, Xiao Huo. I'll give you 2 million in operational funds. Is that enough? The black card was placed on the table, and Huo Feng nodded immediately. Of course, Mr. Xie, I will take my team and start taking action today. Then the housekeeper Xiao Lin took Huo Feng to swipe his card. In order to do something for the rich Mr. Xie, Huo Feng didn't stop at the hotel at all. He didn't even have time to say hello to his good brother Lan Huan. He just left a message on WeChat, just left. The black card was back in Xie Tingzhou's hands, and Lan Huan had recovered from the shock. Godfather, I saw your Weibo name yesterday as Xie Xing's father and thought you were joking. I didn't expect you are really Xie Xing's father. He sighed, thinking that no wonder his Godfather liked this celebrity. It turned out to be his own son. It's just that the Godfather asked someone to investigate the origins of Xie Xing's family, but Lan Huan didn't dare to ask more questions. Well, I haven't seen him in almost 20 years. The last time we met was not long after he was born. Xie Tingzhou felt much better when he thought about his soft and cuddly son in his infancy, and then thought about his cute son on the big screen. Then if he sees you, he will be very happy. Lan Huan heard his Godfather's words, and his heart skipped a beat. He said this, but he was unsure in his heart. Fortunately, Xie Tingzhou no longer mentioned this topic, which made Lan Huan breathe a sigh of relief and said in order to change the subject. Daddy, I checked out Brother Zing's super chat yesterday. Isn't he a member of the boy band MC? Their boy band is a 2-year limited boy band and will be disbanded next month. Their company has already planned to the last concert of the MC boy group is going to be held on the 20th of the month. It will be held at the Bird's Nest in Shangjing City. Is your godfather going? A friend of mine has connections in the entertainment industry and can get some tickets. We can go see Brother Zeng's concert. Lan Huan works in a profession and loves his profession. He was so excited that he couldn't sleep last night. He didn't just vent his happiness. He still had time to sneak into Xiezing's fan group. As a result, he saw the fans discussing the concert, and he knew this. Okay, then just ask your friend to get a few more tickets. Money is not an issue. Xieting Zhou nodded, still very supportive of his son's career. In order to amuse him, Lan Huan also mentioned the lottery draw on Weibo last night, saying that netizens had put him and Xiezing on the hot search list. Even Zheng Xiao felt that Lan Huan was eloquent, so no wonder he was able to hug him. The wealthy person is also very concerned about the lottery. After all, this matter was assigned to her by Mr. Xie before. The butler Xiao Lin stood aside silently. He was actually very handsome and 1.8 meters tall. He wore a simple black suit and uniform, with a neat tie and gloves. Even though he was only 25 years old, he has been managing the presidential suite of the Hilton Hotel for a whole year and has served hundreds of customers. He enjoys his job and feels proud when his guests are satisfied. By the way, Lan Huan, I see you have a lot of friends. Do you know any good life butlers who can be introduced to me? Their salary will be based on their ideas. I would like to find a few personal life butlers to help me deal with some life matters. Xieting Zhou already knew from Lan Huan's chatter that in addition to his friends in Daxi City, he also knew many dandies in Xiangjiang City. Although the circle of the rich second generation sounded useless, everyone said they were dandies. But they are the most capable in spending money and consumption. Nowadays, the best way to have this unlimited black card is to have a few all-round personal life butlers around you, so that you can spend money whenever you need to. An all-round butler can not only make you worry-free in life, but also has a huge network of relationships, connecting various high-end luxury industries, and almost popularizing in all aspects, so many wealthy people abroad have professional life butlers around them. Of course there are. Godfather, if you are talking about the kind of butler who helps you arrange your daily life, life butlers are very popular in Hong Kong. Their butlers are all graduates of the British or French Butler Academy. If you need it, I will contact my friends in Hong Kong and arrange a few butlers to come for an interview with you. How about it? This is just a matter of a few phone calls. Lan Huan does know a lot of dandies in Hong Kong. Hong Kong opened up earlier, and the financial management awareness is different from that in the mainland. The earliest Filipino maids and life butlers were first popular in Hong Kong from abroad, and then slowly began to develop in these wealthy families in the mainland. Okay, then please help me contact a few people, preferably those who have many ways to spend money and strong ability. After taking a supercar from his godfather, Lan Huan naturally took Xieting Zhou's request to heart and immediately began to make arrangements. In addition to the unlimited black card task, Xieting Zhou now has nearly 100 million yuan in funds on his own card after several emergency tasks, so hiring a life manager is a must. Just when Xieting Zhou was planning how to set up a consumption team for the unlimited black card, Huo Feng's team was already investigating Xiezing's personal information. These days, with the full coverage of the internet, it is extremely simple to find a person's life traces. Huo Feng's team is in a hotel next to the Hilly Hotel. At this moment, 6 people are working in this large executive suite. Boss, the investigation of Xiezing's family members has been successful, and the information is here. Boss, the address where Xiezing's family lives now has been successfully investigated, and the information is here. I have booked tickets separately. My second brother and I will go to Shangjing City to investigate Xiezing's mother, and the third and sixth brothers will investigate Xiezing's sister Xiejiayu. The remaining two will go to Xiezing to keep an eye on him. Boss, who are you going to go with? Boss, Xiezing's personal network information has been investigated, and the information is here. Everyone is conducting the investigation in an orderly manner. As long as it is in the area covered by the network, any information can be investigated. Huo Feng stood in front of the printer, watching the printer spit out sheets of information, and stretched out his hand to take out the information and organize it. These materials printed by the printer are all about Xiezing. Huo Feng saw the information of Xiezing's family members and found that his father's name was Xie Tunan and his mother's name was Huang Xinyu. Xie Tunan's photo was copied from a government agency. Although it has been many years, it can be vaguely seen that this young face is very similar to Mr. Xie in the hotel. Huang Xinyu's photo is smiling and has two deep dimples. It seems that Xiezing inherited his mother's dimples. The information said that Xiezing's father Xie Tunan disappeared on a bridge 19 years ago. His clothes were salvaged from the bottom of the bridge, and Xie Tunan's mobile phone was also salvaged at that time. After many days of searching without success, the police determined that Xie Tunan was missing and dead. The other one is Xiezing's sister Xiejiayu. When Huo Feng saw the photo of Xiejiayu, he was really stunned. Compared to Xie Tunan's old photos, Xiejiayu's photos are of her adult appearance, which should have been taken in the past 2 years. The girl in the school uniform and white shirt has long hair draped over her shoulders. She has the same cold white skin as her father, and her straight nose is very noble. With the pair of high-raised phoenix eyes, she is even more unattainable. At this moment, Huo Feng really felt that Mr. Xie was indeed Xiezing's father, because Xiejiayu, as Xiezing's twin sister, was carved out of the same mold as Mr. Xie. Mr. Xie's nobleness and indifference were fully volatilized on this girl. Especially the amber pupils, which are obviously the same color as her brother, but Xiejiayu's eyes are dust-free and extremely indifferent, as if the bright moon on the horizon, no matter how you pursue it, you can't touch it. This is a girl with a story. Huo Feng made a decision almost instantly. I will go with the third and sixth brothers to investigate Xiezing's sister Xiejiayu.